Okay. Oh, man, that was a doozy, huh?
Yeah.
Anyways,
GC
yeah.
died
Uh,
in the hurricane.
yeah. And then he was
Hold
he
on.
was raised from the grave like the Christ, which we'll be talking about later in the podcast. But welcome to Burnout Culture, everybody. My name is Kazuma Hashimoto. What is it? What are they saying about me? That I'm like an industry plant and one of 3 hosts on the podcast.
My name's GC. We might have to restart this.
Oh,
Yeah?
yeah?
I had a really big milkshake before the podcast, and now I
Oh
have
my
to go to the
God.
bathroom.
So you have to shit
Just go.
yourself now.
Just
Fine.
just go.
shit
Cullen and I will
yourself.
keep blabbing. Yeah.
Go shit yourself, poop boy.
My name's GC. I'm the second host of the podcast. Continue.
Well, we're obviously just gonna wait for you, so go shit.
Okay.
Yeah, go shit. Go shit, boy.
Here, I'll do my intro. And then
Yeah.
GC, while you're listening to this in post, just do exactly what I say. I'm gonna send you a song to put over this, and then add like reverb to my intro. Hi, my name's Cullen. By the time you hear this, I'll be gone. It's been real, everyone, but I don't think I'll be coming back to the podcast. The thing I've been waiting for my entire life is here, and I couldn't say no. In my restless dreams, I see that game. Sonic X Shadow Generations Digital Deluxe Edition with 3-day early access. Promised me you'd make Shadow the Hedgehog 2, but you never did. Well, I'm alone there now, playing my special game.
Oh my god.
Don't interfere. Don't ask where I am. I'm gaming.
Oh my god, Cullen. I'm crying.
Anyway, GC doesn't get to hear that until he adds the podcast.
That's gonna be a fun surprise for him. Very fun. Well, since GC is dying, I don't.
I've been
How
listening
was,
to been listening a lot to this song I really been liking lately.
Which song
You
is
ever
it?
hear
Please
this
don't.
song called like Butterfly
Yeah.
City?
Oh my god. I didn't until you. Okay. I did, forgot about it, and then you reintroduced it to me, and then it made me want to die.
I just, I think it's the song of the generation.
Y-
While we're stalling
think-
for time, I'm going to recite a line from it.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is just, what is it? Everyone's like, damn, Cullen and Kazuma have no chemistry, but I'm like, all I do is talk about work, so I can't talk to Cullen about anything because all of it's like NDA that we both can't talk about, so...
I am so NDA'd right now. Hold
Yes.
on. I'm going to recite my favorite line. Hey, sexy
Okay.
lady, kimi no se de yaro domo wa go crazy. Nere yashine ze. I can't do this line with a straight face. Me so horny, cause you so nasty. If you smile for me, ageru ze kono classic.
Oh my god.
And if you're wondering, viewer, what is it from? Well, you're listening to a video game media podcast, so you can probably narrow it down. But that's the opening of the hit video game Ryuga Gotoku 4, also known as Yakuza 4. Look up Butterfly City and then post in our comments, wow, I love Butterfly City, or wow, my name's GC and I hate Butterfly City.
Also, this is Kazuma from GC's burner account. I also hate Butterfly
Nope,
City.
you're not allowed to have an opinion.
Why?
You can't do that.
Why? Is it because of my storied history with the
Yes.
series? Oh my god, okay. Well,
Nope.
god. So we haven't recorded in a hot second, have we?
I
When was the last
know.
time we recorded?
I don't know. I have
so
no clue. It was definitely
Me
a couple
either.
weeks ago, like 2 or so.
yeah, so I went to LA Comic-Con and everything, and I didn't talk about it with you guys.
It's okay.
I did a lot of things.
I played Metaphor and didn't talk about it to the podcast. Our
You
viewers
also
had no
didn't
idea.
talk to it. You were too deep in the metaphor sauce. You
Mhm.
weren't, but
I mean, I was at the moment I'm 50 hours in. Still haven't beaten it,
Okay.
but I like it.
mm-hmm.
I'm kind of in that state right now where it's so weird. I'm playing Metaphor and I'm like, wow, this game's like kind of everything I wanted it to be, but I'm
Yeah.
not like my
In love
soul's
with it.
not. It's weird. I feel like I am in love with it, but I'm struggling to get myself to start playing it. And I really think this has to do with like my mentioned video game burnout.
I think it also has to do with the fact that there's like work obligations tied to
Mm-hmm.
it. Like, I mean, we can definitely talk about that on the podcast, right?
Oh yeah,
Like,
it's
yeah,
embargoed, lifted.
yeah, yeah. So basically, I mean, we can just talk about it in general, right? Like, usually for sites, there's always like a specific requirement for guides when you accept a code because guides are what drive traffic consistently.
More than
Um,
reviews.
yeah, we're pulling the curtain away and just explaining more of what everyone probably knows if you look into it even slightly. Also, this is all because of Polygon's fault, by the way, like inadvertently. It's because their Zelda guides like did crazy numbers like over the course of a year.
I did not know this.
And yeah, their Zelda guides were basically the turning point for every site because those Zelda guides basically funded most of the network that year. For
Wow.
like for that wasn't
What
it
Zelda?
was Breath of the Wild.
Oh, you know what? That makes sense.
Yeah, and that sort of caused everybody to pivot to guides and like really lean into guides because that was bringing people in to like consistently read the website year on year. Um, and now, when you basically accept a code somewhere, if you are, for example, full time staff, I haven't had guide requirements from like MMORPG, for example. That's because I'm freelance and they don't really do guides and they'd rather have features because they want to engage with the community more because the
Smart.
community there does, trust me, if people don't agree with me, they're literally just like, you're a fucking fool, you're a buffoon, which is fine. I'm fine with dissenting opinions because they're not rude about it, and I don't mind if people call me a buffoon. But for example, I accept a guide code from no, I accept a review code from Silicon Era. I'm expected to output a certain amount of guides because that's important on top of playing a game for review. Like for Silent Hill 2, I had to do minimum 10 guides on top of doing my review.
Guide number 1, how to start the game. Go to new game and you press X.
Well, it's
Guide
also just
2,
like
how to leave the bathroom. You might be afraid
it's
to
yeah.
unpause the cutscene where James is in the bathroom, but don't worry. James will leave the bathroom on his own. Guide number 3, what's in James' back seat? Maybe
We'll never know.
We'll never know. Take a little look though.
Oh my god. Yeah, so basically all my guides were like puzzle solutions and things like how to get this weapon and what difficulty should you play the game on and whatnot. So just things people look for because you can actually track what people are looking for through like Google. And sometimes they're looking up the most basic things like, is Guy Seehee in Silent Hill 2 remake? Like that's a guide, right? Because people want to know if Guy Seehee's in it. And for some reason that was like a breakout topic that
Is
had like,
Silent Hill 2 woke? Is Metaphor woke?
oh my
Things like
god,
that.
I'm gonna throw up in my like it's crazy what actually hits like breakout trends. Like one World of Warcraft guide I wrote was literally just World of Warcraft expansions in order because that's what people were looking for when they were starting the war within because World of Warcraft doesn't have you go through it in any linear fashion. When you jump in, you just jump in at the most recent expansion. So you're like, I don't know what's going on. Who is this woman? So yeah, it really just depends on what people are searching for, but you really try to like, do the easiest things imaginable because guides are a lot of work with very little like return in terms of sometimes pay or just like you're spending a lot of time, you don't want to spend all that time trying to fill out your like monthly quota or something, writing some guides that would take you like 3 times as long as literally anything else.
Yeah. To circle
It's
back
bad.
to Metaphor, outside of just it being for work, I think another reason I just don't want to play it is like I got an Xbox copy and
Oh.
I don't want to boot on my Xbox.
Yeah, I get that. It's like the inconvenience, right? Like mine's on the PlayStation 5 and I have to go into the living room and play it.
Same
But like
boat.
I don't want to do that, you know?
I'm glad I'm not the only one who puts his PlayStation 5 in his living room. I don't know exactly why, but I didn't want it in my room. I wanted it to be like my oh, the people are over. It's the media console, but that just means I never play my PS5.
Yeah, my PS5 is technically my roommate's,
Hmm.
so like she uses it to watch TV and everything. Currently watching Sex in the City actually.
Hey, I gotta get
Yeah,
back to
yeah,
that.
yeah. It's good. And like, playing Metaphor and everything right now. Uh and my actual PS5 is back in Germany. And I remember we got a PS5 because I had a review copy for Resident Evil 8 and they wouldn't give us PC codes.
Hmm.
So I had to play it on the PlayStation. And I was like, okay, this is totally gonna like have a, some kind of return on this, like, reviewing games on it. And I just review everything on my PC now.
Yeah, it's the easiest way to review anything. Like if I
Mm-hmm.
ask for a code for a game, I will either ask for Steam or Switch because that means I can take that game like anywhere I want. Like
Mm-hmm.
with PC, I can play it at my desk where I do my work, or I could take it on my Steam Deck. I could go out, like if I'm hanging out with my girlfriend or something at her house, or just want to be a lazy piece of shit in bed, I could just take my Steam Deck there. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's just ideal to play games on
It
PC.
is. It is. I need a longer power cord for the Steam Deck because I also borrow my roommate's Steam Deck, and I want to play that new Hades 2 update.
I
So
hear they added Clive to it.
yeah, but I wish, like, this is not Ben Starr's fault.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that voice directors would allow him to actually do more than one voice,
Oh, is it just the
because I
same
feel
voice?
like
I didn't watch the
it's this.
trailer.
Yeah, it's the same voice for like everything. He's just Clive in everything because that's his most recognizable voice. But I would actually like to hear him do a different voice. Um,
Unfortunately, a lot of casting directors out there took.
just want Clive
Typecast.
Final Fantasy.
Well,
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
gonna say no. What their takeaway from Final Fantasy 16 was, oh my god, he's so dreamy sounding. Oh my god, oh Clive, and that is the correct thing to take away from Final Fantasy 16.
It's the only thing really.
Hold on,
Um,
boots check real quick.
yeah,
Drink
yeah.
kombucha for gut health, everybody,
Mm,
and you
mm.
too, GC, since it
Yeah.
seems like you
Welcome
love a
back.
bathroom.
Oh, well, I mean,
Unfortunately for you, we had nothing but golden content for
Mm-hmm.
you to include in the episode.
that's perfect.
Yeah.
I was only
Yeah.
gone for like 5 minutes, so we're good.
No.
Yeah, I checked.
Oh,
I'm looking
no.
at my timeline. Well, I
Oh,
was here.
GC timing himself.
I was here like 4 minutes ago, but
Mhm.
y'all were having like a pretty good conversation, so I was just like, I'm gonna let this one ride.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, now that GC is back, we can actually begin the actual structure of our podcast, which is, what were we all playing the weeks that we were gone from the world? Cullen and I already talked about what we were up to, kind of.
Yeah, we're ready to end the
So, yeah.
podcast, honestly.
Yeah. This is our shortest episode yet,
We
but
got it
also our
out.
longest.
GC missed it.
Yeah.
I missed a lot
Uh,
of things.
But this is gonna be a surprising episode for people. We actually had a lot of fun playing the games that we had to for review, because for those of you that don't know and maybe haven't tuned in for a while, GC actually works at Silicon Era now, and he's one of our guides writers. So he also gets to play games for work. So we're usually on a lot of the same games, and we'll circle back to that in a second. But I really want to talk about Silent Hill 2
Yes.
and how surprising that was. I actually really enjoyed that game, and I didn't think I would, but as Cullen and I were going through it, both of us, I would say both of us were very pleasantly surprised
Mhm.
at the quality of that game.
I think the entire internet was, for the most part.
Yes. Silent Hill fans were fucking mad about it, which is insane to me. Like seeing people. So basically, some really popular Silent Hill personalities were streaming the game early because somebody had uploaded a full playthrough, and they were basically just watching the gameplay, just shitting on the game. And it was really bizarre. And I was seeing a lot of them be like, don't trust game journalists. They don't know what they're talking about. They've probably never even played Silent Hill 2. you can't trust what they say, but you can trust what I say because I've played the game, like the original game, a
Mm-hmm.
lot,
Please
which was really
subscribe to
weird.
my Twitch, please.
Yes.
Give me
Yeah.
money.
And I want to say one of the first reviews that came out was actually from Vix. Do you know who that is, Cullen?
No.
So Vix is someone that used to host the biggest repository of Silent Hill development notes, guide scans, and just information in general, including translated and like untranslated information about the 21 Sacraments. It was called Silent Hill Haven. I don't even think it's up anymore, but that was more or less my introduction to Silent Hill was when I played 4. I was trying to find more information about the game, and her website came out, and she actually reviewed the Silent Hill 2 remake and gave it 5 out of 5. I don't think it's a perfect game, but I think if her giving that game a 5 out of 5, like that's a really glowing recommendation because she really was like holding the entire community on her back. And hearing people talk shit about her, I was like, you guys are so young, you don't even know who this person is.
I think the response to the remake has been it's been nice largely because I feel like most normal people
Mm-hmm.
have just enjoyed the game, and it kind of goes to show that I think the last 20 years of the video essayists kind of bringing this game up to a certain holier than thou status has done a bit of damage, and also shown that there's less
Oh,
of
yes.
that in the community than you might expect.
Yes. Oh God, I really like Silent Hill, but I sort of hate the media landscape around Silent Hill, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you mentioned like video essayists and everything, like I had written a feature for Games Radar Plus a while ago where I was like, hey, Silent Hill 2 probably isn't the game that you remember it being if you actually haven't played it in a hot second. Regarding like its themes, like it's really not subtle as a game. Most of Silent Hill games are not super
No.
subtle. Most of the enjoyment of Silent Hill and the mystery is mostly theory crafting. I don't know if you would agree with that,
Yeah,
but
I can see that. I
yeah.
For me it is a lot of that like thematic analysis, and
Mm-hmm.
in that way, like kind of piecing together the little bits that are subtle, because I do
Mm-hmm.
like about the way like Team Silent made their games is that again it's not that subtle, but it does kind of throw you off when there are moments that they genuinely just expect you to like figure out yourself or like come to your own conclusions or
Yeah.
like understand like the depth of all like the symbolism.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty common for horror games of that era. Like you don't really get that. I got that in Signalis, which is why I really enjoy Signalis. Because it sort of forced my brain to engage with everything, which is not super common in AAA games anymore, especially AAA horror, which is really disappointing and why I haven't been scoring modern Resident Evil games that high. Honestly, please don't kill me, Capcom. Um, but yeah, like the reception to the game has been very strange, but it's interesting seeing people enjoy it for what it is. I think the Silent Hill 2 remake is actually really good, and I think it improves upon the original game in some ways. It's not There are some things it doesn't quite stick its landing with. Like I think the stuff with Angela, like I'm not going to say this for spoilers because the game literally just came out. Um the conversation she has with James Cullen the second time you meet her and she more or less explains what's going on.
With the knife.
Yeah, they're like they tack on more dialogue there. I'm not going to
Hmm.
say what it is, but she basically like explains the plot of the game to you. Like it's like, okay. But I think the level design, like the changes to level design in the remake are really good because oh my fucking god, I hated the apartments so much. It literally stopped me from like replaying Silent Hill 2 a lot of the time. So, you know what? Making the game more like linear in that way is like, oh yeah, hell yeah, I can get through this game really methodically, really quickly, and just unlock the things I want to unlock and maybe revisit and look at areas like a second or third time.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about these adjustments, Cullen?
So, as one of Silent Hill 2's strongest glazers, I went into this remake with high expectations, but reasonable expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it. It's really it's been so long since I felt this way about a
Mm-hmm.
AAA horror game. And by that I
Uh-huh.
mean I don't think I've felt I'm trying to think the last time one blew me away this much, and it must have been like RE2 remake. But that's the only other like
Mm-hmm.
high profile like AAA horror game of this style I can think of. But
Yeah.
as someone who does consider like, SH2 to be like a work of art and like a really like that was the horror game I played to like get me really in to the genre.
Mm-hmm.
I got into survival horror when the pandemic started, and I started with like the Silent Hill games were my very first like pandemic micro obsession. Pretty much everyone had
Mm-hmm.
one. Mine was Silent Hill, and I love Silent Hill 2. I think this remake really gets Silent Hill 2, and any little bits that I think might have been better in the original, I kind of don't care about, because they made one of the most fun survival horror games in recent memory,
Mm-hmm.
with so many great changes to like level design and encounter design and puzzle design that really blew me away. I Cause was there while I played the entire game. I did the whole thing in more or less like two
Yeah.
days.
Oh, and it was so fun watching you play because you were having so much fun. Contrary to what everybody thinks about me, I love it when my friends have fun, and I love to be present when my friends are having fun.
We had a lot of really fun conversations. And it's
Mm-hmm.
it's very interesting that like I started like really high and you started like good. You thought it was good, but like your thoughts improved as I played the game in front of you, like seeing it
Yes.
again, and we kind of met in the
Mm-hmm.
middle. Like I absolutely adore the game. I have a couple issues. Um, but also I think as its own take on Silent Hill 2, it is just it's great. I
Yeah.
I want to be more critical than I am, but like I think one of the things people really forget about like really good like psychological horror video games is that they need to be video games. And granted, I'm also like a defender of Silent Hill 2's gameplay, like the original. I think it's really good for what it is, but I I cannot believe Bluebird did it. That's kind of where what I'm left with. I
Well,
cannot believe they
they had a lot of oversight.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, yeah. Yeah, we can't just say it's Bloober. We also have to give credit to Konami, which is going to make people angry, but there was a lot of oversight
But
there.
like
So,
but they're the ones who like put the work in is what I'm saying. And like
mhm.
as a game, as a survival horror game, they nailed it. This is like if I am to like replay a version of the game, I think I might choose the remake most of the time, because
Mhm.
and what you were saying about like level design, the ways they were able to like pick up
Lead
on
the
the
player, right?
yeah, but like pick up on those little nuances of how Team Silent did it back in the day and modernize that concept is so
Mhm.
fascinating. You were talking about the apartments, which I always like. I love all the areas of Silent Hill 2. But like I was blown away with what they did with the apartments. It still felt like they did before. But like you said, they do a bit of a better job at kind of leading people through without it
Mhm.
seeming like they are. And then you get to the second half of the apartments, and they have added like an entire new section that involves you juggling multiple different like puzzles at once in your head, and you're trying to run around this like what feels like a constantly expanding place that's shifting around as you like work through it while things are just hounding at you. And I'm just sitting here like speechless that they were able to do this to my brain again. And every time I was like, I thought I knew what they were doing, they managed to like sneak in a little thing that surprised me. The fucking like the game's been out long enough. I feel like we can talk about like gameplay things they do. Let's like I
Yeah.
agree with you. Let's not talk spoilers because let's be respectful. But when the mannequins got on the wall,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
you were both
and they
there
just like
for that.
yeah.
I was like,
yeah,
I wanted to get up and I wanted to give a standing ovation. The ways they're able to use the limited enemy design of Silent Hill 2, but understand that like as a modern horror game, you need to like you gotta keep people like gotta keep people guessing. And
yeah. I mean, I felt like and I talked to GC about this. Maybe it was Luna or GC, I don't know. Shout out to Luna, but the over the shoulder camera perspective actually showed me how little enemy variety there was. And I don't get scared with these games, so I'm a bad judge of character for this, but I was just more like, okay, it's this again. I just have to get through it. I would have appreciated more enemy design, but then the original Silent Hill 2 also didn't have a lot of enemy variants, and this actually does. Well, to some degree, right? To some degree.
Well, that's the thing. They improve on it without adding in a bunch of new stuff. And I think that's in general what I really like about this remake is it rides a very fine line between like trying to innovate on this formula without taking it too far. And the enemy design is like one of the smartest things they did with that, how every enemy type has a variant and they require you to like approach the game in different ways. Like early on, I think one of the earliest ones is that little like flesh thing.
The lying figure.
I think so. Where like, okay, you meet them, you whack them with your stick a lot, and then you get your gun and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna whack everything, and I'm gonna save all my ammo. Well, then you meet a variant of that where if it dies while it's close to you, it blows up and causes you to like take damage, and then you're like, all right, well, now I need to use my guns a little bit. And the game is definitely a lot better at how it handles the whole survival part of the survival horror. I don't think the old Silent Hill games needed to be that difficult. It's always fun when they are, but it kind of makes them a bit more accessible and approachable to newcomers like me, who was really bad at survival horror games before I started playing these. And then like by making them so easy, it kind of allowed me to pick up the skills I needed to get into more advanced ones like the earlier Resident Evils. But
yeah,
like,
I mean, I think the game being difficult is part of the experience, but I do like with Silent Hill 2 that you can play on light and it doesn't like impact your ending or whatever. Like with Fatal Frame, playing it on harder difficulties unlocks different endings and that makes me want to die.
Yeah, I don't care for that.
Yeah, like I'm gonna watch that shit on YouTube. I don't have it in me anymore. I'm not 12 years old, in front of my fucking TV knowing how to 360 no scope a ghost. But
like it's just this game had me at a level of stress that was so fun. I don't know how else to describe this. I loved the fact that I got to spend like 17 hours fucking stressed out of my mind.
You were, and I could tell you were stressed. That was the best part.
And I was loving it. I loved every second of it. And that's the shit I love in my survival horror. And it's just like the fact that like Konami is able to come back with this studio that people really weren't expecting much out of and have something that was able to rival like Capcom, who is able to put all their money into these like survival horror games, these Resident Evil games, is just really impressive. I really would like for this team to make an original Silent Hill game.
No, absolutely not.
I super disagree with you.
Yes. Yeah. No.
Well, you know what I mean by
Bluebird,
team? I mean also having the like. Okay, you got to let me finish. I'm saying with the writers and the overseers that they already had. Like,
I don't think Ito will come back for a new Silent Hill game. And okay, so like, here's the thing, right? Bloober, they're really good at making technically competent games, but without that oversight, it's not going to be great. And the original Team Silent doesn't exist in any capacity anymore outside of like Ito and Yamaoka, like just those two coming back to lead something. And I don't even think Ito is interested in that.
Well,
So
but
you'd have like maybe one person and it just wouldn't be the same. Like I think this game is good because they're building off of the bones of an already established story, and I don't think they can replicate that again.
I'd like to see them try those, all I'm saying.
I would
I'm
like
not
to see
like-
them try it
No,
with
but
another
I-
Silent Hill.
No, but you're
Yeah,
like,
oh god, yeah, I would
here's
love
the
to see
thing
them.
though.
Yeah.
Like you can say you don't want that, but I can say that I am willing to give them the benefit. Like if whatever they make next is shit, then okay,
And yes,
that's fine.
and I am allowed to say I don't want that, and
No,
you don't
I-
have to say that you want it.
I'm just
right?
saying
like
that
I'm
I
just, yeah.
think it's after this, I was impressed enough that I would like, I will go into their next project with an open mind, even if it isn't like another Silent Hill remake or if it's just whatever.
Bloober or Konami.
Both? Why not? Like
I
know
I
they
want
have a
I want you to
history.
replay the medium.
I didn't play the medium, but I'm saying that people like and creatives have the ability to like improve and learn based off of their mistakes. And I think this was a really good effort, and it's making me want to be optimistic about where it goes next. No one has to agree with me on that. I think that's fine, but I think they've at least deserved like one more chance.
See,
I really think you should play the medium.
I don't need to. I already know. I know the medium fumbles. Like I understand this. I'm not dumb. I'm just saying that like I'm going to take them based off of their most recent showing. And if they fuck up, no, like it's not like I lose anything from that.
Yeah, but you're okay. So I think you're very optimistic about this, and I'm just going to reiterate that I think this is good because they're not the ones writing the story. Like they have extreme creative oversight. I think if they did something original, we would literally get something like The Medium or like Layers of Fear, which is extremely misogynistic and like very ableist and does not handle any of the themes that they try to approach well in any regard.
Yeah, but maybe they hire
that-
different
yeah.
writers. Like
Maybe.
I'm just saying I don't see any reason why to be negative about where they go next. And you know, I don't lose anything if whatever they make next isn't as, if I don't like it as much as this, then I don't like, it's whatever. I go, oh, that's worth criticizing. But I'm not going to take this like amazing game I just played and then be like, oh, but whatever they make next is gonna suck. I'm not that kind of person. That's really what it comes
Really?
down to.
really, I think it truly comes down to how much like this is a little complicated because you have to look at what they've made previously. However, the situation around this game that they've made is different from games that they've made in the past, where
Yes.
they didn't have they're working with existing material as opposed to creating something original. And so and to be completely fair, you know, a lot of what they did in Silent Hill 2 remake is a lot of what they did was essentially take a lot of modern horror sort of staples and incorporate that into Silent Hill 2
Mm-hmm.
with an already existing narrative. So you really have to like credit where credit is due. They did a good job with Silent Hill 2 remake. You can't take that away from them. That being said, I think Bloober team has found a place where they excel, and that place, given that they've made original games in the past and they weren't that good and they had issues, you know, like I can't entirely in good faith be like, yes, they've improved their writing or they're going to take a different writer this time around for their next original game and like do something really good, because look at what they do with Silent Hill 2 remake, knowing full well that Silent Hill 2 remake had most of its writing already established and stuff like that. So you're seeing little tweaks in there, and they probably didn't have a lot of liberties to, you know, rework a lot of things. Or maybe they did and they decided not to because they wanted to play it safe. but then, like we can't take that as a sign that like in their next original game that they're going to have completely learned from that experience, because they have, at least in terms of like the writing department, they haven't learned a whole lot aside from adapting existing work. So it's not necessarily that they're not going to be problematic in the next one. That being said, I actually think Bloober Team has found a really good place for them to exist, where they've adapted existing material really well with Silent Hill 2 Remake. And I think if they were like, if I were running that company right now and Silent Hill 2 Remake did as well as it did, and it has, my next course of action would not be, let's make a new original game. My next course of action would be, we're really good at adapting things. What else can we adapt? What other licenses?
Silent Hill 4.
We can do Silent Hill 4, but like they can grab other stuff like and do stuff with that. Like I don't know, the Clock Tower maybe, like or like Siren or something like that. Like I would actually like to see Bloober Team, before they go ahead and make something original right off the bat of doing an adaptation. I would rather see them do another
franchise,
or another Silent Hill. I want to see, because it's one game, right? So like what I want to see is them sort of like show me that it's not a fluke, show me that it's not a one-time thing, but also show me that that is where your strengths lie. Prove to me that your strengths are prove to me that you're stronger, or you're a stronger team now. Prove to me that you've learned from mistakes. Like adapt something else, add little things here and there, see what happens with a different like with different creative oversight over it. And then once you've sort of established that you've adapted things, and also in adapting those things, understand what makes those things powerful and what makes those things successful, then I would want to see them do something original. But I don't want to see that just yet. I want to see sort of an evolution of their adaptations.
I just think that given how like talented they are at the level designers and like the game designers there, I don't want them to be stuck remaking things forever. And I'm like, I know I seem like a stupid, naive child. I get that. But I'm just trying to be optimistic here. Like, I understand probably the yearning that they want to like try to take these lessons and apply them to their own original work. And, you know, again,
they've literally said that they just want to like, they venerate Silent Hill to such a staggering degree that they just want to do like Silent Hill.
No, but I'm saying like I'm sure that they don't want to always be remaking old games like, and all I was trying to say is that whatever they make from here, I will be looking at it compared to before where I didn't even bother. And if it's problematic or if it's not good, then again, so what? I don't lose anything from that.
Well, what I think you mean is that if it's problematic or whatever, then, you know, fuck them, right? But otherwise,
I like me personally, like there's not much for me to lose in this gambit. Worst I can say is I played a game I didn't like. Guess what? I do that all the time.
Fair enough.
That's what I approach it.
I'm gonna leave this here because I think if we keep talking about it, we're just gonna keep talking in circles about it because we all have like specific ways we feel about it.
Sure.
And I think they're pretty contradictory in terms of like the studio TM. But I agree with GC that I would like to see more from them before they make a game that is wholly original, because I've played a lot of their games and I am not confident in what they could make moving forward, despite them doing a really good job at making the bones of a pre-existing game translate and appeal to modern audiences.
Fair. I agree with Cullen. I think he's very funny and he's well spoken. He's very cool and he smells good because he showers on the daily.
I just want to
Um,
say,
Yeah.
I have no stake in the original Silent Hill 2. I think Maria's design in the remake is better than the originals. Sorry, everybody.
you're right.
No, that's true. Okay, I will say okay. I will give them this, right? When people were like talking about her redesign and everything, and they were like, "This isn't sexually appealing. This isn't, what a woman like her would wear." I was just sitting like in my chair, being like, "I need all of you to go to Europe like right now. I need all of you to just to just see what women in Europe wear.
Yeah.
Please, God, please."
When
Because the
people-
bathrooms in Silent Hill 2 remake they're extremely European,
Oh,
by
yeah.
the way.
When people were saying that like Maria wasn't hot anymore, all I could be was like, I don't know, my penis disagrees, but like you do.
I'm sorry, but that cheetah
Oh my
print
God.
skirt or that leopard print skirt, that is so fucking tacky. I much
glad-
prefer the red leather coat and the I guess it's like a black dress that she wears underneath.
Mm-hmm.
The black dress actually has cheetah print on it.
I can't even tell, and that's what makes it so good.
I'm glad remake James is a man of taste, unlike original James, who was not.
5G truther James.
Yeah.
I think the men who are complaining about the new character, I'm gonna paint a target on my back. All right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna stand on this hill. The dudes that are complaining about the Silent Hill 2 remakes Maria design don't know how to dress themselves. They don't know what good fashion looks like. My God, that old outfit looks so fucking bad. I hate it so much. I've never seen someone. I'm sorry. It's like a cardigan and a leopard print thing with some boots. Like, who the fuck dresses like that?
Christina Aguilera.
Well, that fucking worked in like the year 2000, back when we were all listening to Eiffel 65 and Bjorn was like a hip, novel, new thing. But it's 2024. Bjorn's normal now, and fucking fashion has changed.
GC, you're that meme of like the Marine, like with his arms like extended over like a sleeping child. That's you right now over me. Ugh. But other games we have been playing that we have enjoyed. Cullen, you spoke about this while GC was dying, shitting his brains out. But talk about Metaphor.
That was a good game.
Yeah,
I like Atlas.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
JC.
Well, you're not completely through it, are you?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I got killed by the guide process TM. So I want GC to explain his thoughts about Metaphor, and then I'll bounce off that.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I haven't played a lot of Metaphor. I've played maybe 14 hours, 12 hours, 10 hours, maybe like 6 or 7, 8 hours, 9 hours. It's actually 9 hours.
I like
That's
how you
enough.
say, like you say, I haven't played a lot of time with it, 9 hours, but the game's like 60 plus hours long.
Yeah. It's a huge game.
It's on the shorter side for this
It
team.
is. I beat the first dungeon, and I haven't really messed around with the social simulator aspects of it just quite yet. I've done a couple things here and there. I really enjoy how Metaphor seems to be this is somewhat biased or influenced by what Cullen was telling me about the game,
Mm-hmm.
because Cullen's a lot farther than I am. And I really like how the game seems to be incorporating multiple elements from previous Atlas games into it.
They said it was an anniversary game, and they did not lie.
Yes. It's
Because
very,
Cullen, you mentioned that there are like a lot of different teams that are working on this, correct?
Well, I don't know about that, but I know that there's like a lot of different like Atlas themselves have a lot of different teams internally, and it seems like what they might have done, I don't have the names. I'm just going off of what I saw when I played the game, but like it seems like they got some people from like all those different franchises that they operate and kind of got them to like combine all those into one super game.
Okay.
You've got like, and like this is super clear in just the gameplay, like the combat. You have like the very approachable, snappy style of a Persona game. You have the press turn system of Megami Tensei. You have like the synthesis attacks of Digital Devil Saga. You have the row system of Etrian Odyssey. It's just a smorgasbord of ideas, and somehow it works.
You make me want to try Etrian Odyssey.
I think you'd like it. You like first person dungeon crawlers?
Yes, I'm a big wizardry person.
I think you'd like it. So were the Etrian Odyssey developers.
Okay.
It's on our Steam family thing. The first 3.
Well, looks like I know what I'm doing at some point. Maybe after I finish Diablo 4 Season 6 Season Pass.
I'm done.
Yeah, GC fucking rolled
Finished it
through
last
it.
night. I feel
GC
empty inside.
So, so while okay, do we want to keep talking about metaphor? Or are we okay with moving on?
I do want to
there's
mention a
stuff to
couple
talk
things.
about.
Yeah.
So I've never used the press turn system before because I don't play SMT.
Yeah.
Press turn system's really fun. I've played very little SMT. I should clarify. I've played some. I know what press turn is. I know how press turn fucking works, but I've never really like invested into it. This seems to take the press turn system and also add in, like, I don't know if previous press turn systems did this, where if you add if you hit somebody's weakness, it only takes up half a turn instead of a full turn.
Yeah, that's in that's in like the press turn games.
Okay, so that's really cool. I really like how, because the press turn system is such where you have resources that your abilities take up a resource that reflects your turns. It's not necessarily that you have turns, but your actions can take up more than one turn, for example. I really like that system. I really like being able to pass a turn, which only takes up half a turn, so I can give it to somebody else. I like being able to use abilities that involve both characters that then take away 2 turns. I like how your turn-to-turn combat and turn-based RPGs can get very monotonous very quickly. So you either have RPG battles that are very fast, right, to mitigate that, or you have like a gimmick that makes it more interesting, like Dragon Quest Monsters and The Last Remnant, which I bring up all the time, is one example where what they do is they take away direct control from you for the most part, so that there's an element of uncertainty in what you're doing, and your strategy sort of involves more about giving general directions than direct ones, than direct orders. And that's sort of interesting. So battles can take a little while longer and you don't really feel it because you're more interested in like seeing what happens without your input. Or you make battles really fast. Metaphor is on the battles really fast thing, but also turn strategy is really important. And I'm really satisfied so far with the fact that I can clear encounters in less than 10 seconds. And I am like flying through the battle menus. Like I am just like, I know exactly what I'm going to do here. I know exactly what I'm going to do here. I'm going to pass a turn here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then you hit like a boss and you're like, shit, what do I do? And then the game slows down and you're like, oh, okay, let me figure out the boss and what the boss like needs me to do. And I'm exaggerating a little bit. Like, obviously, like, you know, for me, it takes me like 2 seconds, or I have to have Cullen be like, you do realize that at the start of the battle, this character says, don't fucking do that move, right? And I go,
GC did
right.
a lot of Cullen moments on the first boss, and I was very amused.
Oh no, really?
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention. I figured it out on like the third.
I just let it happen. It was funny.
And then I got really, that game letting you retry battles is a blessing and a curse, because I'm a perfectionist. So if a battle starts and I don't like the way it's going, I retry the battle immediately and I restart it. And I'm like, I'm going to do it better. I'm going to do my turns better this time.
Well,
Even if I'm winning, I do that.
It helps that the game subtly pushes you towards that perfection, like built into the game design. Because if you're able to clear a battle without like taking any damage, you get a big bump in EXP and money,
Yeah.
like a
Like,
sizable one.
There's an actual incentive to sort of like clear battles perfectly. And if you're like really good, then the battles end super quick. And then if you hit a snag, it doesn't feel as shitty to be able to restart. I know in harder difficulties you probably can't, but I'm really, really enjoying the battles and the combat system in Metaphor. The dungeons so far are really good. They remind me of TMS dungeons. That's a slight against Cullen, who does not like TMS.
Well,
But
see, I
do.
disagree because these dungeons are good.
If you play TMS, you would fucking know that in order to have Persona 5 Royal and Metaphor dungeons, they had to fucking start doing or trying that concept in TMS. So you can thank TMS for the fact that they got better at it. Thank you.
I thank them for nothing.
Sure,
Because
whatever.
that exact team went to go make Soul Hackers 2, which is a game I enjoy, but think the dungeons are very bad. So I don't think there were any, they were talking to each other. I think that the TMS team made a video game and the Persona team, they made a different video game.
Well, I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree. Anyway,
I will replay TMS at some point, and I will be as open-minded as I already was when I went into that bad Switch version.
yeah,
and then
that
I will
Switch
see.
version's really shitty.
I will see where I land.
Anyway, really happy with Metaphor. I was talking about this on stream earlier. I'm rambling. I'm
Please ramble away. It's been a
The-
GC less podcast so far.
the lack of romance options in Metaphor I like, because when I hear, oh, there's romance options in a game, what I want is for there to be many kinds of romance options for different kinds of people who are playing the game, because it's not just me playing it. And I think it kind of sucks when there aren't romance options for everybody. And it's not really that hard to include romance options for everybody. It's literally, you just make multiple people in the game romanceable, regardless of like their gender or your character's gender or sexuality, etc. Right? It's actually like, once you actually get around to doing it, it's actually very simple. But historically, Atlas is not the best about doing those things. I like that there's no romance options, because if there were, they would probably fuck it up in some kind of way, or, you know, the romances themselves would be very like, I don't want to say misogynist, but it would be very like patriarchal, and it would be very like,
heteronormative.
there you go. That's the word I'm looking for. It'd be very heteronormative and like, like
Me gagging. Ugh.
like it
Like a
wouldn't
cat
be
just retching.
like it wouldn't be satisfying knowing that there would be like people who are playing the game that feel left out.
Yeah.
Especially because, again, it's very easy to do those things. That being said, after spending some time with the characters that I've already been spending time with, it's not that I want to romance these characters. It's that the subject matter of the game itself allows for interesting conversations to be had about the romances.
Interesting. What do you mean by that?
Have you ever tried to date somebody? This is okay. Interracial couples get a lot of shit in real life.
Yes, they do.
Oh, I see
Oh
what you mean now.
boy. Yeah.
So for a game that talks about racism, I understand why they didn't do the romances. This is not a knock against the game. This is not saying, oh, this game is worse for it. And again, like, if they did try to do this, I would sweat, because I would be very scared of how they would handle it. But I feel like, because the themes of the game are so overt, and because what they're talking about is so obvious, and they're so aggressive about what they're talking about, the lack of romance options kind of makes me wish they had included them, if only so they could talk about that aspect of racism, because that's like not a very often spoken about aspect of racism, because people don't like really like think about that. They don't really like, it's not that they don't acknowledge it. They're more or less, it's more or less an unknown to people who don't end up doing that, especially like people who aren't like marginalized people and stuff like that. Like, I feel like it would have been an interesting discussion to be had, that the game could have had. So I'm like of two minds about the lack of romance options, ultimately, is what I was saying.
I've also played Metaphor. And I think in terms of its themes and politics, you guys aren't like at the end, TM. a part of me is glad that they don't try to tackle issues any deeper than they do, because I feel like they would fumble stuff. Like later on, it very much becomes about like the class system TM above everything else.
Okay.
And I won't elaborate because I don't want to spoil anything for Cullen, because this is his special game and he deserves to experience it in everything it is.
And you got to be careful with me, because if you like walk around the spoiler, I will like the Sherlock Holmes the spoiler out of you.
Yeah, and you'll be like, I can't believe it, is it this? And I'll be like, but the way I feel about Metaphor as a narrative, is that it is a game that actually has very little to say and doesn't challenge anything, much like the Persona series, in terms of, classism, the monarchy, what is a republic, things like that, and like democracy, because that is what it tries to sort of talk about. And this is just like a thing that I hate that about like Persona fans, and not you, Cullen, because I love you and I know you're not like this.
Oh, we know that. We know the SMT Atlas Persona fandom is like
I'm
full
aware
of
them.
Yeah. Like people play Persona 5 and they're like, wow, we got to fight back against, the government and the system, but they don't, and that's where their politics begin and end. Like just sort of surface level, what they take away from it. It's going to be the same with Metaphor, I think, in which, wow, we should change the system, and that's it. I don't expect Hashino Games to radicalize anybody, but I wish they would push the envelope a little more.
I think one of their biggest issues is that they kind of want to juggle too much, and they don't have time to really dwell on any one particular thing. Because Metaphor is trying to be this everything game.
God, it sure fucking is.
And like, I think it succeeds largely, but it's more of like, it's giving you a little like a taste test of all these different small ideas. And at this point, I'm just like, as long as you don't like hilariously fumble anything, I'm fine with it.
And you know what? They actually don't.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Like, as soon as review embargo lifted, the articles that started coming out being like, the best part about Metaphor is that it doesn't fuck up. I'm like, perfect.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I'm okay if it's a bit shallow. Like, I'm fine with that. Like, not everything needs to be super complex. It'd be great if it was, and they really got into these issues as much as they could. But I get a bit of a vibe at the end game of Metaphor that there was a point in which they said, okay, wrap the fucking game up. Y'all need to ship this. So,
and you really feel it, honestly.
And I don't think that's necessarily the worst thing ever. Most games nowadays are rushed. It's the reality of the industry. I still really like it for what it is, but I do have a couple worries about the story. But really, I just need it to not colossally fuck up. That's it. That's all I want from it at this point. Because I think, like, while there's plenty to talk about with the story and like what it does and what it talks about, I'm just so happy to be playing an RPG in the year 2024 that is mostly a dungeon crawler.
It's really weird because I think October, and I hate it when people say this, it's a really good year for games. I think October has been a really decent month for games. Like, Metaphor came out,
SH2,
Silent Hill 2 came out, Diablo, we'll get to Vessel of Hatred in a second. Dragon Age is coming out. We'll see about that. I'm very skeptical about Dragon Age, but no, I think I totally agree with what you say, Cullen, regarding this. Like, this is a really good JRPG dungeon crawler. I personally wish it was a little bit harder, but I'll try Regicide mode and get back to you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It is hard enough for me. Like, really all I want from one of these games is I want to be punished for like being careless, and I want to like use my normal skills at playing these games and having all my knowledge of Atlas games to help me get through. like as much of it as I can. And the game has continued to like meet me at that level. So I'm pretty pleased with that.
I'm on board with you in the same regard. I think like a good turn-based RPG rewards you for paying attention and penalizes you for getting careless.
Mhm.
And I think like whether or not it's like strenuous or not is aside the point. Like you can make an RPG super hard as long as it rewards you for like paying attention. It's going to give you the same amount of like satisfaction as like an RPG that is easier, but that's what difficulties are there for.
I know a lot of people who played it on hard and really enjoyed it. I'm playing on normal. I have nothing to prove. And I imagine when I get to the super bosses, I'm going to lower it to easy.
And you know what? I love that you can do that. I love that you can do that, and that this doesn't impact really anything other than if you want to challenge yourself or if you want to have fun, you know?
See, that's the thing. It's a lot harder to justify going back for a second harder run for games nowadays. And I had to play this on a deadline anyway. So I wasn't really like, again, I had nothing to prove to myself. After a really long day at my 9 to 5, I'm not looking to have my balls busted. That's for Saga.
I am. Heyo!
Well,
sorry.
you're also playing on normal, so no, you're not. But I will say though, unfortunately, I have to disagree about the fact that October is just decent for games. Next week is kind of crazy.
What's
maybe
next week?
just for me, but it's East 10 is next week, Sonic X Shadow is next week, Saga is next week. For me in particular,
oh god.
Unfortunately, next week is like the 9/11 to my free time.
Oh shit. Okay.
Again.
Well, I guess we won't see Cullen.
No.
Cullen will be in space, like that Char picture, just T-posing or whatever in space.
The like
I love
oh,
that
and then
gif.
Shadows of the Damned is late October.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I swear it's like I think almost every day next week there's, and by the next week we mean the week you're listening to this right now. But like there's something almost every day for me to be doing, and as soon as Saga 2 drops, my life's over. Truthfully over. And I already know because I've got a code and embargo lifted for East 10. East 10 is also great. Too many games. Too many games.
It's Cullen's month. It's the month of Cullen.
It is unfortunately Cullen's month. I get Silent Hill 2, I get Metaphor, I get Sonic, I get Saga, I get Falcom, literally
you get
every
Assassin's Creed.
Wait, what?
Assassin's Creed Mirage comes out tomorrow.
GC.
What?
Assassin's Creed Mirage has been out. GC.
Oh shit, I'm looking at the
mean
Steam
Shadows?
release. No, I'm
Wait,
looking at
what?
the Steam release. Mirage comes out on Steam tomorrow.
What?
It wasn't out on Steam yet.
Oh,
Isn't that weird?
yeah, what?
It's fucking weird.
That's the side scroller, right?
Nope, that's the
No.
the new one, the newest one.
No, wait. Oh, wait. Huh.
Yeah.
Feels wrong.
Yeah. Well, GC, if you play it, I'm interested to see how you feel about it because you've been going through it with modern day Assassin's Creed, and apparently this one's better.
Well, I won't be getting there until I'm done with Odyssey and Valhalla.
I'm so sorry. Odyssey's
It's
such a
okay.
fucking slog.
It's okay.
I hope you like the Pythagorean theorem, whatever the fuck it is, Pythagorean theory or whatever, because it's literally important to Odyssey.
It
Hey,
would
Jake.
be better if it was smaller.
For the art, while they're talking about Assassin's Creed, I'm going to speak directly to you, Jake. Draw Shadow the Hedgehog in James Sunderland's coat.
Fuck that. Draw me in Maria's old outfit to spite me.
Draw GC dead in a lake, drowning. Kazuma is on a boat on that lake having a great time. I am not there. Shadow
No,
is,
you
though.
no, you're there, but like it's your massive big head mode, but you're like at 50% opacity.
I'm like the king's big sky face and Metaphor. just big and in the sky at the top of the press turn UI. There it is. That's the art.
You know, well,
Or
I'm
you can
glad.
draw me as the Spiritborn.
Oh God, yes, the
Oh,
Spiritborn from Diablo 4.
Oh no.
GC, do you want to lead this? Because I have to now it's my turn to use the bathroom.
Okay.
Oh no.
I'll be right back.
Don't leave me for Diablo talk, please.
Yes,
No.
yes,
Fuck,
yes.
I have to actually fucking participate.
Yes,
Shit.
you do. You
Okay.
do.
All right.
Kazuma and I played Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred in its entirety, front to back. And I'll wait for him to get back so we can talk about like the story. But at the moment, I want to talk about the new class that they introduced. First of all, the game has like a bunch of changes. So they actually like simplified a ton of things. They reworked how difficulty options work in Diablo 4. If you don't know, previously it was like world tiers or something like that. And I didn't really understand it. But they reworked it. So now you pick a difficulty option and you unlock more difficulty options by running a certain thing, beating it at the new difficulty option that you want to unlock. And by beating it at that difficulty option, you unlock that difficulty option for everything else. It's very nice. Anyway, so the Spiritborn class is brand new. It's really good. The problem is that I've learned
It's too good.
Yeah, it's busted. Literally. I thought my build was like really good, and I was like, oh dude, yeah, hell yeah, like this is sick, this is awesome. Like I've never played a class in a game where I'm not using any of my abilities. I'm just dodging everywhere, and I'm refreshing my dodge, and I'm just going nuts all over the place. So that might be a bug.
They're actually patching that out this week.
Yeah, so it's not the dodging everywhere that's broken per se. It is an item that what it does is Kazuma linked this to me actually. It spends all of your primary resource to do big damage, but there is an error in that item where your resource generation stat, right? The higher that is, it increases the damage that you do. So a bunch of builds are using this item to sort of break the game in half with the new class. And by the way, like even without that, it's the new, like my build isn't using any of the bugged items, and it's like it is just you enter a room, you mash like I've turned it into an idle game. I've turned it into like a clicker game. Like I don't cast my abilities.
Playing Vampire Survivors. I was lurking in your stream and someone
I started drooling a little bit because I think my brain died because it just was overstimulated by like because I thought I had an idea of what Diablo was from when I played, and then GC busted out a different game that I'd never heard of before and said it was Diablo, and I was like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
GC was playing
play
Sonic the Hedgehog with the way he was running through these maps.
And I was clearing them real good.
He got S ranks.
It's awesome. I can't wait for them to patch it out and for me to find ways to like make it happen anyway. I'm very excited because I'm stubborn like that. So they're going to patch it out. I'm going to find a way to make it happen to keep my build. And all I can say is if you want to clear the season pass as fast as possible, make a Spiritborn and go look up an evasion based build, like a Storm Feathers build or something, whatever it's called. And you will breeze through that game in a matter of hours. And also the campaign itself is only a few hours. You want to talk about the campaign?
Okay, so Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred picks up where Diablo 4's base game leaves off, with Nyrel taking Mephisto, who has been sealed inside of a soul stone, across the sea, which I thought was going to take us back to Tristram, because you gotta go to Tristram in a Diablo game because you gotta fight Diablo. No, this was a filler arc. Cullen, you're never gonna play the story, are you?
I mean, I want to.
Okay, well, just know that they need to stop sticking things in stones, and the Christ allegory in this is so strong, it's egregious. Like, okay, GC, can you describe the scene, please?
Without spoiling it, of course, I can do this really
Yes.
good. So we literally see a character splayed on the floor, in the classic Christ on the cross pose. Not exactly, obviously, that would be ridiculous if it was exactly that. So they just kind of like moved his arm a little bit down, like his left arm. They kind of moved it a little bit at another angle, and they put his right arm a little higher. And then they didn't crisscross his legs entirely. They put like one up, like made it look like he was sleeping in his bed.
He is also wearing a white loincloth.
He is also wearing a white loincloth. And this character, something is done to the character, and then the character rises. This is all one cutscene. This is not this is like just the scene, right? And then the character rises, and there's a literal crown of, it's not literally a crown of thorns, but it's supposed to be a crown of thorns, around his head.
Yeah.
And, basically the idea, what they're teasing in the future is that this Christ figure, who I will not say who it is, you literally, you won't know who this is until the scene is happening, and the reveal is, it's not a character reveal, it's just the character that you already know is around is doing a thing, and it's just like a stinger for the next expansion.
I will say it's very The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and that's all I'll say about that.
It's basically like, it's a little, we talk about, we've had a couple conversations about Christian imagery and things, and how like tired I think it is. And Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred is a really good example of like me being tired of Christian imagery, where they are using the Jesus Christ symbolism to basically be like, oh, isn't that crazy? Like, Jesus Christ is,
Fucked up.
Yeah, Jesus Christ is fucked up. Like we're
corrupted, and
we're
whatever.
admonishing organized religion, which is, Diablo does that. Diablo criticizes organized religion, and like has its like the whole thing about the angels don't give a fuck about you is like sort of like a driving point that the Diablo games like to make. Or
shout out to Imperius, my favorite hater.
And like, I think it's a little on the nose, but also I don't think its use of Christian imagery, it's just there to like,
I would say it feels like it's there to be like edgy and superficial, right?
yes,
Like there is no greater intent behind it other than, oh, look at how nothing in this world is pure and can be corrupted. Like it feels really cynical, but also like really goofy because of like how much it's trying to shock you. Like, so for those that don't know, GC actually didn't beat the main campaign of Diablo 4 until you had beaten Vessel of Hatred.
Yeah.
GC, how much Diablo have you played in the last week?
I don't want to talk about it.
Really?
A lot. Yeah.
You don't want to give it a number?
I can give it a number.
Yeah. So you do want to talk about it?
I've probably played like in the last 2 weeks. I could tell you like,
okay, better.
I've probably played like,
dude, every time I get on the BattleNet, you're playing Diablo.
Stop.
Before
That's
our
not, that
podcast,
can't be true.
GC
He was
said,
playing Diablo.
I'm ready, but I have to finish this thing with Diablo, which means you weren't ready.
I was doing the Infernal Hordes.
last
You
one.
can't pause it, Dad. You have to finish it.
You have to take out the garbage.
I will take out the garbage when it's done.
You gotta kill these roaches in your room. Asmongold,
First of
you
all,
have to move
how
out.
dare you? Second
You
of
got
all,
a real job now, Mr.
How
Gold.
dare you?
Mr. Gold,
God.
your job is over. You gotta start work at Pizza Hut.
Cullen
Sorry.
is now the fucking Marine, like, with his arms out over me.
Yes.
Like, it's not GC now, it's
GC, that
Cullen.
wasn't towards you. That was towards Mr.
That's
Gold.
munch on these balls, okay? Fuck you. Like,
You're such a little hater. You're just a tiny little mad man.
anyway.
Oh my god.
Like, in general, the Christian imagery is just, it's very, yeah, it's like very like for the sake of edginess and for the sake of, it's like, I don't mind cynicism. It just feels like you use the Christian imagery because it was very obvious and very easy to do. And I would have preferred something more interesting. I feel like devout Christians are going to be fucking scared of that ending, dude. Like, the evangelicals are going to see that ending and they're going to be like, oh my God, they've corrupted Jesus.
Diablo?
I don't know.
I don't know, but I do want to add like one little interesting fact. So, do you remember the font from Diablo 1 and 2?
Yes.
So I went to the Dome in Germany and they opened the crypts. And I look in the wall at all of the Latin and I say, wow, that's the Diablo font, because the Diablo font is literally ripped from like I don't know what fucking century Catholic churches. So the heavy-handed Christian imagery is like, okay, I get it, but also just make it the font again. Just do that instead of, making Jesus evil.
Yeah, and like just in general, so I played, like you said, I played the expansion, I beat the expansion, then I went back to the base game. And both the base game and the expansion have the same problem.
Yes.
And that is that they don't end in like, they don't have closure. There's no closure in either of these stories.
Also, this game series, it used to not have this problem, but you specifically said you hate stories where there's miscommunication.
Yes.
And Diablo 4 is full of that.
Yeah. Like there's just like, I don't understand. I don't understand why we can't just like
not put people into soul stones.
Why can't we do that? Why can't we just have a chat? Why can't we just, hey, real quick, let's just have a real good conversation about what we're going to do next. Like, the story just keeps moving and moving and characters do things and like things happen to characters for no reason. Like character deaths, like I get it. Diablo's like a grim dark, or not like it's like a dark sort of setting. So people die all the time, right? Okay. The problem is that the characters that you're following, their deaths, their traumas, the things that they go through still have to be meaningful to have impact. Like, a certain character in the base game of Diablo 4, minor spoilers, Cullen.
It's okay. I'm watching Sonic videos, so I won't be paying attention.
Perfect. A character in Diablo 4's base game loses an arm, right? And I thought, because I played the expansion, I was like, oh, there's probably like a story there, right? Like, and I
watched. No, it just happens.
Yeah, I watched some trailers and I was like, maybe that was like a price they had to pay, right? And no, it just happens. It just happens. Like it just randomly happens, and then they chop their arm off, and the story continues. And it's like, what was the significance of them losing their arm? Nothing. It was just, anything can happen in this crazy, wacky world where everything sucks. And it's like, that doesn't like. First of all, we don't know anything about that character. Like, we barely know that character.
Yes.
And then in the expansion...
And because things move so fast, it's like, I met you yesterday. Like,
yeah.
What's going on?
Like, I met you yesterday and we're, like, best friends now. And then, like, in the expansion, those characters return. And it's like, you're the closest person I have to me. And I'm like, this game started with, like, your main character being a wanderer. Like... they could very well have a family. Like they could have parents. They could have.
Does your wanderer have a family, GC?
They
Does your
could.
Wanderer have a big titty goth GF?
I don't know, but like, if my fucking wanderer who wanders and meets lots of people,
A
like
wanderer.
goes to like meet somebody and like knows them for like a day and is like, this is the closest. Like if a regular person was like you met somebody like at a convention and by the end of the convention they're like, you're like the closest friend I have. Like I would get red flags. Like I would be like, this is a bad.
What if it was a magical weekend?
Listen, I know MagFest was really special to us and like we had a really good time.
Learning a lot right now.
But you and I knew each other before MagFest. Okay?
Is Cullen gonna lose his arm?
Definitely taking you off the organ donor list.
That's fine. I don't need organs. I'm gonna live forever. Anyway.
Yeah, you need hair.
All right, Arthas Menethil. We'll get to that in a second.
We'll get to that in a second. So like you don't know any of these characters in the base game, and then in the expansion, what I expected, because I hadn't been in the base game, but I had gotten that feeling already. And so in the expansion, I was expecting, new characters to get introduced, which they do, and then like for us to sort of get to know these characters, for us to have lots of interactions with these characters, and like build up a rapport with them, and for those characters doing things to mean something. But the expansion is so short, and we again have so little like face time with the like they're there. But we don't know anything about them. We don't see like Diablo 4 seems to have this problem where the world is really well realized because it's the same world that they've revisited, over the course of several games.
Mm-hmm.
But the people in that world, the characters of Diablo 4 that we're supposed to like be attached to, it's just not there. Like we don't know anything about these characters. We don't come to like care about them in any way. And because things happen to them so frequently and so suddenly, your brain does this thing where it's like, well, I'm just not going to attach myself to any of these people because at any minute they could be gone. So why do I care?
We have to play Diablo 3 together, GC. Like that has to be the thing that we do next.
I would love to.
Because the difference in storytelling is actually pretty severe. It's like, so for these that don't know, Diablo 3 was really maligned when it came out because it was colorful. Ooh, wow. But it actually has some of the most fucked up class lore like I've ever experienced in a Diablo game. Like the Demon Hunters, there are implications that very bad things happened to the Demon Hunter before they became a Demon Hunter. So it's just sort of like, oh, all of this is like really dark, and it's tonally very dark despite it not visually being dark. And Diablo 4 feels like they listened to a lot of feedback from people that hadn't played Diablo 2 in like 20 years and were like, this is what we're giving you because you complained about there being color in Diablo 3. So I feel like it's sort of like an exercise in excessive cynicism and violence for the sake of violence, and retribution against nothing.
Do you want to know the irony of people complaining that Diablo 3 was too colorful?
Yeah.
The irony of that is that after Diablo 3 came out and people were like, oh, it's not, gritty and like gray and whatever, everybody wanted to go play Torchlight 2, a game that might as well have all the colors of the rainbow inside of it.
Yes.
Like a game that is arguably brighter, more saturated, and more colorful than Diablo 3 ever was the game that like people gravitated towards because they didn't like how Diablo 3 was all of those things, which is so
That's crazy.
Lame. Torchlight 2 is good though. I like Torchlight 2. Anyway.
Yeah.
I didn't hate Vessel of Hatred. I thought Vessel of Hatred was fine. Like story-wise, I thought it was fine. I think mechanically it's great. I have a lot of fun playing Diablo 4, but the expansion is like before you know it, it's over, and they end on another. I hate that they do this. In the base game, they did it. It always ends on a stinger hinting at a future villain.
It makes me sad because it definitely implies that we're going to be getting like yearly or like bi-yearly Diablo games, that it's become an MMO, right? Like there's literally
Yeah.
a World of Warcraft raid at the end that
There's
we
a
should
party
do together.
finder now.
Yeah.
But you
Because
don't
like
have to pay for a sub though, right?
No,
you don't. Wait, do you want to play, Cullen?
Yes, but like also you have to understand maybe after I survive next week.
Okay, because we can literally carry you through GC Spiritborn and my Necromancer. Like we just push button, everything dies. Like we can get you through it, and we can help you make a really busted character so you have constant visual stimulation.
Well, I mean, I might want to have you guys lower your characters down a little bit because I do want to experience the game.
We'll just put it on a really hard difficulty.
You know what? Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's the great thing is that, like, for example, GC's build is really busted, but I think like Torment 2, you're like struggling, right?
Actually, I'm currently at Torment 2 doing just fine.
Okay.
Slowly creeping my way to Torment 3.
Okay.
Torment 3 completely bodies me though.
Yeah.
There's too many unavoidable damages.
I need to honestly level up my Necromancer more, which I might bug you about, because for those of you that don't know, I really like Arthas Menethil. He's a character from Warcraft 3 specifically, and they added a Lich King skin into Diablo 4. And GC, you were you were the first person to send me that screenshot, but you were not the only person to send me that screenshot. I was like, why is my phone going off? And I saw that and I just said, oh no. And I immediately went home and bought the skin. And I already had Invincible because Blizzard had given me some free currency. And so I bought the horse. And I actually wanted to tell GC a really fun story.
Go for it.
So, Cullen, this will not mean anything to you unless if one day you like Warcraft.
I've queued up the next Sonic video, don't worry.
Okay. So, you know Arthas's horse Invincible? Like how it dies and everything? So leading up to the horse's death, there's this big gala, and this is in the book about Arthas, and I've actually read this book because I just wanted to know more about him. Let me tell you, his like POV, he really thinks he is like the best person and most innocent person on the planet. It's very interesting. If you like Arthas, I really suggest like giving it a read. It's a very easy read. But basically, he's invited Jaina, who he's been seeing for some time, and she basically like decided not to date like Kel'Thalos and chose to date him instead. Goes to this big ball in Lordran, and everyone thinks Arthas is going to propose to her, and she's gonna become like, you know, the next in line to be queen because Kalia is not eligible to be the leader of Lordaeron. She's like engaged to what is the name of Deathwing? Is it Neltharion? It's not Neltharion, is it?
I don't remember.
Okay, well, she's engaged
so fast.
Yeah.
Look at him go.
Yeah. So anyways, he's like, "Oh, I don't want to like marry Jaina. I'm like really nervous about it. Like she really thinks like I'm going to propose to her." And so he like pulls her aside, right? And they're like in like the gardens, and she's like, "Oh my God, he's going to propose." And he's literally like, "Hey, I think I just want to stay a paladin for a while. Is it okay if we break up?" And she's like, "Sure, I guess." And she's like crushed, right? And he's like, "Oh, hell yeah. This was great. Anyways, time to go and ride my horse." So the first thing he fucking does after breaking up with Jaina is go for that ride on Invincible. Invincible slips, falls, and breaks its leg. And then he has to like fucking kill his own horse. Like that's the sequence of events, GC. That's why I needed to tell you this, because like he just loves his horse so much.
Oh, good. I mean, he named his horse Invincible. Like, it's
well,
like,
you know,
it wasn't
The hubris.
yeah. And then, you know, the first thing he does after becoming a Death Knight is literally go to revive his horse. Like, when I say that Arthas Menethil is like the greatest horse girl of all time, like I actually mean that. Oh God. And we'll never see that horse because it has a 0.7% drop rate.
Yeah, no, you good luck. It's never happening. Although
Yeah.
we did get into a conversation about how we realized that Arthas Menethil would, like, in World of Warcraft, Arthas Menethil, right? The Lich King,
Mhm.
my dude,
Yes.
the Ice King, right?
Mhm.
Bad guy. I don't like him. I think he's awful. Did bad things,
I love him, and I think he's awful.
gotta I gotta hand it to the guy. Had a very storied life. Pretty bad dude. In World of Warcraft, if Arthas Menethil was in Diablo, he would be the greatest hero of all time.
Yes.
Arthas Menethil in World of Warcraft. We gotta burn this city to the ground. Oh my God, Arthas, that's so horrible. What about the people? They might be infected. It's too late for them. We gotta kill them. Oh my God, he's gone mad with power, folks. In Diablo, in Sanctuary, Arthas Menethil walks up to a bunch of people and it's like, we gotta burn, this village is corrupted. We gotta burn it to the ground. Everyone would go, no, he's right.
Yes.
This is the only way. What about the
cooking.
people? It's too late for them. They're already infected. They're already whatever. And in the rules of Diablo, he'd be correct. He would be right.
Yes.
These people would have
Yes.
to die.
Yes.
Arthas, like, the Haradrim would love Arthas Menethil. Arthas Menethil walks into the room and is like, yo, the light's bullshit, am I right? And everybody would, like, start clapping. And, like Lorath would be there and he'd be like, take my pole arm, dude. It's yours now. Like, you lead the Haradrim. You lead this battle.
God.
It would be perfect. And he's sitting there, he's like looking at all of these like primevals, and he takes they put a primeval in a stone. Arthas Menethil would 100% be the guy to be like, give me the stone. I'll put it into my body. I can tank the damage. I can do it. And by God, he just might.
And like that's the fucked up thing about this character, right? Is that he's literally like, I'm built different. Like, they don't really explain it very well in World of Warcraft that like Arthas is totally in control and he basically forced Ner'zhul into submission inside of his own body. But in the book, like it starts with like this idea of there being inner turmoil inside of Arthas. Like there's like this sickly child who is at the table with like, Ner'zhul the warlock, and Arthas has to sort of decide like if he wants to go back to being good or if he wants to fully embrace being the Lich King. And as the book is ending, like the child is getting stronger because it's like the implication that Arthas is like wanting to regain his humanity. He can overcome it. He then kills his inner child and then kills Ner'zhul and is like, nah, it's all me. I'm the Lich King. So you can't even say that he was mind controlled because he did this all consciously. Like he made the effort to do that.
He made his fucking decisions.
Yeah. So, I just think he could, simply endure the torment of having a soul stone in his body.
He's a fucking, like, he knows necromancy. Hello, that's just a class in Diablo. Like, he would fit right in. He'd bring the dead back. He'd bring his horse back to life, and people in Sanctuary would be like, well, he did love that horse. Like nobody would bat an eye.
Well, he did love that horse more than he loved his girlfriend.
Oh, they'd be like, oh, he had to break up with his girlfriend. He had to take the fight to the demons. Like,
Yeah.
like, what are you gonna do? Like, that's just life out here in Sanctuary.
God, Arthas Menethil, the hero of Sanctuary.
I would never break up with my girlfriend.
Not even for a horse?
Not even for a horse.
Wow.
What about like,
yeah?
What about like, would you? Never mind.
What?
No.
I just realized
No,
asking you 1,000 questions like, would you break up with your girlfriend for this? How about this? How about that?
I've
Like,
done this to you.
This is like the shooting the
please.
monkey thing.
Yeah,
this
give me
is
the
your
monkey
shooting
question.
the monkey.
Give me the monkey question.
Would you break up your girlfriend for the ability to raise the dead back to life?
No. If anyone I knew died, okay, I can't say they deserved it. That's a bit fucked up. I've definitely known some cool people who didn't deserve it, but mostly it's like 9 out of 10 people probably deserved it that I have known.
Yeah. See, all of my questions are going to be really easy because it'd be like things that just don't exist in real life. So there's no stakes for you.
Yeah.
You would just be like, no.
Well, I
Cullen
mean,
loves
but
his
like if you
girlfriend.
make it real, I would be willing to like, you know, humor
Would you
that.
break up your girlfriend for Shadow the Hedgehog?
No, not a furry.
I mean, I didn't say you'd have to be with him.
Well, but what? He would just exist?
If you break up with your girlfriend, Shadow the Hedgehog will exist and he'll be your friend.
Shit. It's a really good thing she doesn't listen to this because this is coming out a couple days after our 11-year anniversary.
11 years? That's so sweet.
Yeah. On this Friday, it's our 11-year anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
So I am actually considering this.
See, this is why I both wanted to ask you the question and didn't want to ask you the question. A, because it would be funny, but B, because it's so close to your anniversary, I don't want to put that pressure on you.
But like he's my friend. Like how much of a friend though? I'm not
like
getting
your best friend.
Okay, so but like am I his best friend?
Yes, you two are picking up Latinas together at a bar.
Oh, well, I am single, so I guess that would work.
Let it be known, Cullen would break up with his girlfriend for Shadow the Hedgehog.
No, I didn't say this exactly.
Yeah?
It like he's really cool. I don't know. I guess like
he has a motorcycle and a machine gun. Yeah.
How about I stay with my girlfriend, but Shadow hates me forever and is never my friend? Can he still exist?
No.
Oh,
no.
That's a shame.
Okay.
Doesn't even get to live his best without me.
He can't live his best without you.
Oh,
he needs you, Cullen.
Wow.
Is Shadow the Hedgehog in the room with us right now?
I wish he was.
Knows?
But unfortunately, I have a girlfriend.
Oh, well, Shadow will never exist as is.
You're gonna say come?
That's okay. I'll shoot the monkey to bring Shadow to life.
You're gonna shoot my girlfriend?
No. If I won't shoot a monkey for $1 million, but I'll shoot a monkey to bring Shadow the Hedgehog into the world.
I'd blow up a bunch of monkeys if Shadow the Hedgehog. To be fair, I'd do it for one. But like if it's like toss a grenade in this room full of a bunch of like chimpanzees, I wouldn't even look in the room. I would just toss it.
You don't even think twice.
No. Kingdom Hearts
Jesus.
taught me don't think twice. Toss that grenade in.
Oh my god! Don't.
Oh,
think
good.
twice.
That's how they wrote those games too.
Do we
No
want
wonder
to
they're so
talk
good.
about? Oh my god. Okay, I'm siding with Cullen. I like Kingdom Hearts. I'm sorry, GC.
That's okay. I'll die on this hill.
Okay, well you won't be alone because I'll be like halfway up the hill and halfway at the bottom.
No, you
I'll burn this
go to
whole fucking
GC's
down.
hill. I don't
I'll
want
burn
people
this whole
on
village
my,
down.
I guess, bottom who aren't fully committed.
I mean, I like Birth by Sleep and Chain of Memories.
No, but you're thinking about going back up on the hill.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
I like Birth by Sleep and Chain of Memories, but I'm not super fond of Kingdom Hearts 3, which I thought was fine.
But you're looking at the hill.
Yeah, because I'm like the median. I'm like the middle, you know?
The day of reckoning will come.
No, but I'm Anakin Skywalker.
The day of
GC's
reckoning will
Obi-Wan.
come. Kingdom Hearts 4 will come out, and you will feel weird about Sora hanging out with Star Wars characters, and you'll see it the way I see it, and you won't be able to get that time back.
This is not fair because that is the one thing I don't want them to do. And you know this.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like, no shade to anyone who thinks it would be a great idea because you're probably right. But something about it seems a bit too on the nose.
Sora's going to hang out with Marvel characters
I don't want that.
Star Wars characters. And that's why he's in a world that's more like the real world, because that's the excuse they're going to do to put live action properties into Kingdom Hearts.
Robert Downey Jr. in Kingdom Hearts.
They're going to go back to Pirates of the Caribbean.
Again?
It's going to be weird.
I can't describe it. Probably is just nostalgia because like the old like movies Kingdom Hearts covered were just like, again, I know they were always like super corporate, but I feel like Disney has gotten a lot worse about the shit they make, and most of it nowadays is just really bad and feels soulless. So the idea of like going to that. And Star Wars is kind of at that spot for me right now where I don't think the series will probably ever have like a fun original idea ever again.
Yeah.
Same with Marvel. And it's just like the idea of like taking Sora and putting him there, it just feels like it just wouldn't work. There's no joy to be had in that, but whatever. As long
It would
as the
be
buttons
soulless.
feel good.
It would be soulless. It would be like, it would be so mired in corporate intervention. Guess what? That's Kingdom Hearts.
Uh-huh.
That's what people who didn't grow up with Disney movies see Kingdom Hearts as.
Oh, like you.
I grew up with Disney movies.
Yeah.
I just know the, obvious like implications of shoving Disney shit into
Cullen,
Final Fantasy shaped holes.
Cullen, did you watch Disney Channel growing up?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you remember the promotions where they had like a kid sneak into the super secret Disney facility to see Kingdom Hearts?
It was very whimsical.
Yeah. Well, in retrospect, when they were talking about the game, it was very much to sell Disney stuff.
Oh yeah, I know that like
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts at the end of the day from a corporate perspective is just selling you Disney slop, but like also the art that somehow exists despite of that in all its emo glory is the stuff I really latch on to.
And I love that. I and this is not me being derogatory. I actually really love that for you because you're the person on this podcast that still feels childlike wonder and joy.
Hey.
Yeah,
I feel childlike wonder and joy.
Yeah,
I got childlike wonder and joy.
One of us will be playing that new Sonic game, and one of us will be
playing the new
watching
one.
and go,
What?
And-
I like Sonic Generations. I'm gonna buy Sonic and Shadow.
I mean, you don't need to because I already bought it for us.
Yeah, but I need to. We're gonna race. So
yeah, good.
I gotta
good
be able
answer.
to play it while you're playing it because we got a parallel play record.
Well, then you better buy that early
Yeah.
access on Tuesday.
Oh,
I will
it's
be
early
streaming
access.
that Shadow campaign the millisecond it unlocks, and I will be living my absolute best.
I will say
I will be there.
there is one instance where I like Kingdom Hearts 4. And it's if Kingdom Hearts 4 features Disney Channel movies instead.
Yeah.
Like if Sora gets put
Xenon,
into
girl of the 21st century, Brink.
See,
Smart
like,
House, like
if
come
they
on.
did that, I would be into that because it's a weird pick and it's not the most obvious thing. Like the Kingdom Hearts worlds are at their best, I think, when it's not the shit you would expect. Like it's there in the first game, there's something charming about the fact that it's like they're pulling all these like weird 90s like Disney movies and like making a game out of them. I feel like after a while though, most of that series kind of iterates on the same couple worlds and it gets tiring. And it's why like Dream Drop, I think, is my favorite because they get some weird fucking Disney movies to reference in Dream Drop Distance.
Which ones?
Well, like fucking Fantasia, like that's really
Fantasia?
yeah.
Wait, is that the Hunchback of Notre Dame one where they had that in that game?
Hunchback is
Okay.
in that too.
Okay.
Fucking like the second Tron movie is in there. The what else is they? I see. Here's the problem. I was really excited to go back and replay Dream Drop Distance. But I could not get past Recoded in my marathon, so I put that on pause. What else do they do? They have Notre Dame. They got a Tui World that's just Traverse Town. They got some other ones, but like I like it when it's weird. And I just whatever Disney has been putting out in the last like 5 years is not like none of it has really spoke to me in any way whatsoever. So if all the worlds are really boring, I will at the very least hope that the game is fun. And
They
that
got the
the
Three
unique
Musketeers one.
Kingdom
It will
Hearts
be.
bullshit TM is at its best.
Well, I'm happy for you, as always. Do we want to get into what we've been doing these past few weeks, or
Haven't we
Or
just
are
been doing
we-
that?
I mean, like things that aren't just video games?
I don't know what you did. Doing things that aren't related.
I went to LA
video
Comic-Con.
games.
Like,
How
what
was
did
LA
you
Comic-Con?
do? Oh, okay. So, LA Comic-Con was really fun. It's actually a pretty small convention. For some reason, Like
Good
Hayden
God.
Christensen was there, and so was Ewan
Ooh.
McGregor and like Rosario Dawson. They had like a bunch of like Star Wars people there, but it also wasn't super packed. It's very strange. You'd think people would want to go to LA Comic Con, but they really don't. So it's sort of like going to a mid-sized convention in the Staples Center, and you have a lot of really famous comic book artists and character designers there that are selling commissions for extremely cheap because the comics industry is depressing. For anyone that knows about it tangentially, it's
Yeah.
very painful. I went with two of my friends. They were cosplaying from some Danmei series. I think I don't remember what it is, but one of them has like an eye patch. One was wearing like white robes. And
Yakuza.
yeah, yes, they were cosplaying from the Yakuza series.
Uh.
The fucking peanut butter baby, I'll never forget. And I decided to go as Scott Summers from X-Men Evolution, like his school outfits, like the green sweater and everything. And we were just walking through the artist alley and stuff, and I can't see shit because I'm wearing sunglasses inside like a jackass. All right, so we walk past a booth. My friend's like, "Oh, you want to check that guy's booth out? Like back there, he has like X-Men Evolution art." So I go over there, and it's the character designer for X-Men Evolution. Like he has a booth.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and he looks at me and he's like, "You know what? You get a free print." And I was like, "Oh, thank you so much." He's like, "As long as I get a picture of you." And I picked a Wolverine print for Jake, and he ended up signing it. And I really had no idea like who this guy really was up until like I looked him up afterwards. And he was like, "You're the first Scott I've ever seen." And I was like, "Ever?" And he was like, "Yep, ever." So Cyclops remains extremely unpopular, even though Evolution was really good. So there were a couple of people that approached me. What I thought was really fun was that I don't know if you guys ever cosplayed in like 2010s or went to conventions in like the late
Yeah.
2000s, early
I
2010s.
did.
You did? So you guys remember the kind of feeling of like everybody just having fun? Like it wasn't so much a competition to see who'd get like the most pictures or changing your costume 3 to
Yeah.
4 times a day, which I did because I was an official cosplayer back then, which was kind of crazy to think about. It was more like everybody afterwards was just hanging out in the main hall, listening to music and dancing with each other and having conga lines and just vibing. And it's a feeling that I've really missed from conventions. And it's more or less convinced me to start cosplaying again because it just feels like fun. It was great, basically. It was a lot of fun. People were really excited to see my friends. Like they were literally squealing seeing them because of the characters they were cosplaying, and that was really cute. A couple of guys were like, "Hey, I recognize you. You're Scott." And I was like, "Yeah, yep, okay. I'm really embarrassed." I also had like a little objective from my friends because I really like Wolverine that I was supposed to take a picture with every single Wolverine I saw. And that was fine, except they would all get kind of handsy. So I need...
Oh, cosplay. The more you
Yeah.
change, the more you stay the same.
Yeah, and like the thing is like I'm approaching these dudes and like obviously like I guess these guys don't like know X-Men like that. I mean, I don't know X-Men like they know X-Men. I have very little investment in X-Men. I was going to say something really inappropriate, but I'm not going to say it. Well, okay, like I've definitely had to tell guys before that have approached me while I'm not in cosplay that are like, "I want to like tell you all about X-Men because I want to share my special interest with you because I think you're cute." And I literally have to tell them I'm not interested in it like that. I really have investment in one thing. And when I tell them, they're like, "Oh." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's really not that serious for me."
I'm just imagining like at a club, like that's the pickup line. It's like, you want to hear about X-Men?
And I'm like, absolutely not. Anyways.
Damn. All right. Well, have a great day. And they go like bump and dance to go talk to someone else. And you just hear in the distance.
Talk about X-Men.
You want me to talk to you about X-Men? Yeah. All right, fair enough.
You know what? If a guy approached me in a club and said that to me, I'd actually be like, "You know what? Yeah, tell me about X-Men. I appreciate your boldness in this very social situation and
And
not
then
in
you
a
go,
situation
I like
where you're
Cyclops, pew pew, and he pretends to do laser beams and he runs around, pew
And-
pew pew pew, pew pew pew, and then he
I-
runs out.
You know what? Good for him. I probably will never talk to him again.
Well, you're not gonna find him. He ran out.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey man,
But
you looking kind of cute. That reminds me of X-Men issue number 73 when Iceman comes in wearing a leather jacket. Damn.
wow. But yeah, it was
It's a
it was
good
super
thing
funny.
he's not here right now, or else he'd melt.
Because I
It was-
broke the ice.
Damn.
You know what? Fine. Okay, if you're a guy and you see me at a club and you say that to me, I will humor you. Um,
And
Yeah,
then
you
walk
see
he
me at the
goes,
blood rave on Halloween.
Yeah. And then he goes, pew 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 pew.
And then
You know,
have
that's
two
not the
guys at
strangest thing.
club who are just doing pew pew at each other.
And I'm just an observer. Okay, honestly, it wouldn't be the strangest thing that has been said to me at a club. Did I tell you guys about the blood rave? No, I told you about the blood rave, right? Like last year.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, about how some dude approached me and was like looking for me to be his third in his relationship with his girlfriend, and his girlfriend was really mad about it. Yeah.
His
Yeah.
girlfriend visibly upset at the notion.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she was not happy. But he was just like, again, he was like, hey, I think I recognize you from somewhere. And then my blood is running cold. I'm like, does he fucking follow me on Twitter? And, huh?
Like, I don't know what happened. We don't know what happened to this guy after he,
Yeah.
solicited towards you at this club. But like, I've never met someone who left the club with -1 people.
Yeah. Sure. You know what?
Well,
yes.
you know who she went with? The Scott
Shadow the
Summers
Hedgehog.
cosplayer there.
Oh, no.
who went, pew, 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 pew,
I was
pew.
going to say Shadow. the Hedgehog.
Oh, was she Latina?
Yeah. No, she was very
This might
white.
be
He
a
would
strange
not.
question, but we've had a really good night, so I have to ask. Are you perhaps from South America? Maybe Central? Possibly the Caribbean?
I've
Oh my
noticed you're
God.
white. Is it like a Cuban thing, or is it like? I don't want to judge, but like I have a type.
Oh my God. But yeah, I've been approached in social situations with men saying stranger things to me. I will give a shout out to the Wolverine cosplayer I will never see again that asked if I wanted him to carry me, in which I really quickly said, no, please, no, God, don't do that. And my face was red. So, yeah, I went to LA Comic Con. It was a lot of fun. Cosplaying with your friends can be fun. Pew, pew, pew. Yeah. Cullen, you went and saw a movie, right? Oh, and you also watched Unicorn, Gundam Unicorn, Unicorn Gundam.
Unicorn is definitely a lot more interesting to talk about.
Oh, really?
Then
Oh, okay. Oh,
Gundam
never mind.
Movie 2,
Yeah.
which was just a movie that I thought was good.
Mm-hmm.
I like so I just got back from seeing the second of the Gundam movie trilogy theatrical re-release that just compiles the original Gundam into 3 movies. There's very little to talk about 0079 besides just saying, oh, the third one, like the end is really good. The rest of it is good as well, but like the end is kind of where everything really comes together. But I think since our last recording day, every Friday, our group watched a little OVA series called Unicorn Gundam, or is it Gundam Unicorn? I don't know. It doesn't matter. And because I just finished watching Double Zeta, GC has never seen Unicorn, and we have a couple of friends who, we like to group watch some shows. So I was like, hey, I want to rewatch this anyway. I'll watch it with my friends now that I am fully like ingrained in Gundam, because when I watched it all those years ago, I was young and I had never seen any other Gundam really. That was like one of my first pieces of Gundam media. I remembered it being a little lame at the end, but it had really cool robots, and I didn't remember anything else. I hate to keep passing it to GC, but I think his reaction to this was really funny. And I will chime in here and there. I say let's try to avoid like the real big spoilers, but we can do our yapping. This is at the end of the podcast, so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we watched all of Gundam Unicorn over the course of a month. I think it was a month, right?
3 weeks, but yeah.
Really? We did it?
Mhm.
Didn't we like skip out like certain
No.
weeks or something? Oh, okay.
No. Well, we had to. So there's 7 OVAs, and we did 2 one week, 2 the next week, and then we shotgunned the remaining 3 on the final week because, you know, I'm busy this Friday, so we had to just rush through it. And I brought this up not knowing that the final OVA was feature length and the rest are 50 minutes. So we got a bit too much Gundam Unicorn.
Yeah. It actually ruined my sleep schedule.
I apologize. Welcome to my sleep schedule.
Yeah.
For me, it's always like this. I will say now, and cut this out, GC, and maybe replace it with your own little thing. If we do end up just spoiling shit in the heat of the moment, just include a little bit and then tell people to leave.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, cool.
So this is essentially how I felt about Gundam Unicorn, and I hope this comes through.
Was that a fart noise?
Yes.
When I had my episode of our podcast, which was pretty early if I remember, dedicated to just venting about Gundam Seed, I think this is kind of GC's version of that.
My reaction to finishing Gundam Unicorn was to, I think I literally said 3 things. 3 things that I remember that I said was, I think I'm actually going to throw up. And then I proceeded to like heave. I think I want to cry, dude. And then I said to Cullen, I said, you took 7.5 hours of my life away from me, and I'm never going to get them back. Gundam Unicorn is what happens when somebody really likes Gundam and doesn't have a fucking clue what Gundam is about.
And it's really funny because the guy who wrote Unicorn wrote he wrote Gundam novelizations. That's kind of how he got his start.
Yeah, novelizations that Tomino, the creator of Gundam, basically like
hates,
like physically beat him for.
Yeah.
Which novelizations?
I just know of.
Was it Frozen Teardrop?
No, but I just know that his novelization of Turn A Gundam, which is basically Tomino's baby, made Tomino so mad he assaulted him.
What?
Based. Love you, Tomino.
What?
Like he kicked him.
Oh,
kicked the crap out of him.
Oh, he really did?
That is how the story
allegedly,
goes.
Allegedly.
I believe it though, because this man's writing does not really speak for itself. It does not really hold up. And unfortunately, this is a bit of a difficult topic because Gundam Unicorn is one of the most successful Gundam shows of like all time. It was a big money maker. It was a huge hit. Which is funny because I think the only thing that really compares to it is the other massive Gundam hit, which is Gundam Seed. And Gundam Unicorn is essentially them trying to make Gundam Seed in the Universal Century. So he's inserting his own work into the timeline built by the series creator Yoshiki Tomino, and being like, okay, but this is the thing that connects like 2 of the biggest eras of Gundam, my thing. But he doesn't get it. I'm gonna let you go, GC. I'm gonna let you.
So let's start with the fact that traditionally in Gundam, Zeon is usually described as fascists. So that's a thing in Gundam. You have two factions, the Earth Federation and Zeon, and there's turmoil between the two factions for various reasons, but usually in Gundam, especially in UC, Zeon is sort of a fascist allegory. There's a guy that literally quotes Hitler.
So they are basically like the Nazi paralogue. Like they are like the like what the guy like Zeon Daikun, his ideas were not fascists, but the Zabi family murdered the shit out of him and then co-opted these ideas to make basically a space Nazi party,
which is reflects real life things and how fascists do things.
Yeah.
So you have that, and then you have the Earth Federation. Now, before anybody gets on my case, yes, in Gundam, they do not necessarily always paint the Earth Federation as the quote unquote good guys. That's sort of part of the thing with Gundam, where you have fascism on one end, and then you have impossible bureaucracy and
like
special interests and, for lack of a better word, it's capitalism. But the two things kind of go hand in hand, and they kind of talk about that in Gundam. They kind of talk about how there's like in the background, there's an electronics company that makes the mobile suits that really makes a lot of money when these two factions are at war, and happens to be providing mobile suits to both sides of the war effort. And that's, part of the commentary of Gundam. And, there's people in both factions that we sort of get to know, and their allegiances shift and their beliefs change, or sometimes they don't. And that's also kind of the point. And it's very interesting and stuff like that.
It's to add on to this a little bit, because I'm watching the original 0079 movies again, and I've just finished Double Zeta, and I'm planning to rewatch Zeta as well. And the fascinating thing about how Tomino chooses to depict the Federation is that they start as kind of like a careless force, and you see from series to series them getting more corrupt over time. But at no point do they ever go, but the Zeon guys are right. Like, there are a couple characters here and there who you might feel sympathetic to, in like on the Zeon side, but it's not like, at no point do they try to paint Zeon as like a good force. They are always considered fascist.
Yes.
Like in every single work Tomino has with them.
So let's talk about how Unicorn shows or presents the Zeon faction, who in Unicorn isn't like literally Zeon. They are the Neo Zeon.
And Neo Zeon is like a bit complicated. I need to do my Char's counterattack rewatch, but like they like up until Char kind of took them over, and a little bit when Char did, but he had kind of his own weird 5D chess thing going on with them as their leader. They were basically just like, they were still fascists. Like, they were dropping like colonies on Earth in mass and like trying to just like, they were doing some seriously bad war crimes. Unicorn takes place after they tried to drop a massive asteroid on Earth.
Yeah.
Like,
so in Unicorn, okay, there is a very marked imbalance in the way characters are represented. Every Earth Federation character, with the exception of one guy, and I really mean this, one guy, with the exception of one dude, okay, every character in Earth Federation is sort of presented as this very hateful, very one-track minded, very, not like a very close-minded individual. Whereas all of the Zeon characters that we meet, and I mean like almost all of the Xeon characters we meet, okay, have these emotional moments where they talk about how the Earth Federation is actually like super bad, and how like, yeah, sure, we dropped the colony, but did you know that the Earth Federation killed my wife and my daughter in an attack on my village when I was like not there because I was busy dropping colonies? Isn't that fucked up that they did that? And there's another character that Benager, the main character, is essentially
Benager.
follows along, who's also from Xeon. And she's like, this is my father figure. Like, he's like my master. He's like the person that whatever. And like, yeah, sure. At some point I was reconditioned to like, believe in the Xeon philosophy and stuff like that. But this is still my father. And like the Earth Federation, you know, like, they're bad because if they capture me, they'll want to recondition me too, which makes them just as bad as Xeon. But still, I liked being on the Xeon side for XYZ reasons because I have an emotional connection.
Yeah.
And like
the people who saved her from a very like rough childhood were essentially Xeon troops.
Yes.
So she has this sense of this character, by the way, outside of how they handle her, is probably the best character in the show.
Yes.
Marita, she is the best. Like the amount of fumbling they do with wrapping her story up is like fucking Hall of Fame tier.
Yeah. So there's a very like obvious one-sidedness in the way Xeon is presented, and the Earth Federation in Unicorn Gundam is evil, like undeniably evil. Like there's no way around it. It is no longer like we are no longer seeing like a study of like two factions that are made up of different kinds of people and who believe in different kinds of things,
and that are like making each other worse as time goes on.
Yeah, like we are there is like a stark good and evil comparison between the Earth Federation and Xeon, and 9 times out of 10 Xeon is shown in a very positive light, with the exception of like Full Frontal. That's his name. His name is Full Frontal,
literal char clone,
a literal char clone who is horribly mishandled, but I'll get to that in a little bit. In the meantime, while we're showing you that Xeon is actually full of really good people and that you shouldn't call everyone from Xeon a Nazi, because honestly, like there's some really points. They have some good points, and they you know, they just want independence from the Earth Federation and
I'm gonna
so on
throw
and so
up
forth.
in my mouth.
They like in the middle of that, you have a protagonist who refuses to have any actual beliefs
or agency, really,
or like motive. The only motive he has is that he saw a girl and he was like, I want to do everything for her. I have to do everything for her.
Unfortunately, the girl's name was Hitlerina.
Unfortunately, she is the last surviving member of the Zabi family. She is literally the last surviving member of Hitler's family.
Granted, ultimately, Unicorn Gundam is a show that wants to say nothing and is very centrist. So they're like, when she shows up, it's not that she's like, I really think we should get another Reich going. Like, I think that shit went crazy. She's not doing that. But the problem is that she doesn't really do anything because the show doesn't really like women. They don't think they should have their own characters outside of their relationship to men.
The problem is that she could have been an interesting character where she is the last surviving member of essentially the leaders of the Nazi party. And she could have been a character who's like, listen, I wasn't even like born when any of this shit happened, but like, it's fucked up. It's fucked up that we did these things and like, we have to be better. So I don't like the reason I ran away from Neo Xeon was so that I could, you know, take them down or put a stop to their plans, because their plans involve, doing horrible things, and I don't want to be attached to that. I don't want my name to be a part of that anymore. None of that happens. Every time this character wants to do anything, a man steps in and says, let me do that for you. Or says, no, you can't do that. And this is including like little things, like she wants to have a conversation with someone about ideals, right? She should be the one having the conversation with Full Frontal, the clone of Char, who represents Neo Zeon's ideals. Like he literally calls himself a vessel for Neo Zeon.
He's their figurehead. They basically made a guy just to put up on a podium.
He is literally the ghost of past ideals. He's literally that. Like in the story, that's what they call him. That's what he calls himself. Like forget metaphor, forget subtext. That's literally what he is. So she should be the one having conversations with this guy, right? She should be the one having confrontations with him. No. Instead, Banagher is the one that gets involved with this Full Frontal character. And the problem with Banagher, like you were saying, is that he's like, this is a centrist Gundam show. So Banagher doesn't want to stop the Earth Federation. Banagher doesn't want to stop Neo Zeon. He wants everyone to stop fighting. Now, if Banagher was a normal dude who only had his words to solve problems, this would be fine because the helplessness he would have in trying to change the world would reflect, how someone else might feel in real life about the helplessness of changing the world, right? Like the futility of being one person against like the universe and the rest of the world seemingly like not being able to like get along or whatever, right? The problem is that Banagher is the pilot of the Super Jesus Ultra Mega Gundam.
I'm sorry. You missed a G in there. The Super Jesus Genocide Gundam.
Yes, the Super Jesus Genocide Gundam, the Gundam that can only be piloted correctly by people who are super advanced, or who are an evolved human species, the new types. And it literally has new type energy in it, and Banagher can summon it like a Zord. And also the angrier or the more like emotionally compromised Banagher gets, the more powerful the Gundam becomes. And there seems to be no limit to the Gundam's power. So if Banagher really wanted to, if Banagher truly cared about putting a stop to the conflict around him, Banagher just has to get really upset. And once he gets upset, he could disable everybody else's mobile suits, everybody else's military thing. Like he has the Super Jesus Ultra Mega Gundam, okay? And instead, he doesn't do anything.
No. See, to kind of go off of what you were saying, there's like a really interesting idea there about someone who wants like peace over all else and wants like fighting to stop. And they could like interrogate this a bit. But unfortunately, the writer is a centrist in the same way that like the writer of Gundam Seed is a centrist. And it's that kind of annoying pacifism that doesn't seem to understand like conflicts or like anything about it. And it just goes, stop it. And then they like, they come in and then they cause a lot of problems, but they don't really have like any ideas of their own. They
are arguably more disruptive.
Yes.
They arguably escalate the conflict. They make it worse. They make it more painful. They make it more difficult for people to compromise because they are sitting there and they are yelling at everybody. And what the show seems to fail to understand about conflict and confrontation is that when you insert yourself into a conflict and you antagonize the two sides that are in the middle of the conflict, all you do is make those sides angrier at each other. And like the entire show, Banagher is like indirectly getting people killed. Banagher can save people's lives by using his special Gundam, which is the most special Gundam that's ever been Gundammed ever.
It's a really special Gundam. It also has an evil brother that is a different color.
It is a show that ultimately says nothing, to the point where at key moments, Banagher uses his catchphrase, which is even so, which is basically, which might as well be out of a centrist playbook. And the reason he goes even so is because no matter what anyone says, no matter what ideals somebody talks about in this show, no matter what statement a character wants to make about something, Banagher undercuts it by saying even so. And the music swells, and the cinematography comes in, and like and they give Banagher the opportunity to monologue, and it's so obvious that what the showrunners want is for people to hear Banagher basically be like, hey man, you can't do, even if you got a point, you can't do that. Hey man, even if you got a point, you can't do that either. And you over there with that third opinion, that's also too extreme. And this is whatever. And he does that the whole show. And I sincerely mean this. He does this every time he's confronted with an ideal. Instead of having his own ideals, he literally just says, even so, you can't go that far.
Yes.
Why? He doesn't tell you why. He just says that you cannot believe the things you're believing. He doesn't bring up a good rebuttal. There's no like, you know, I would even accept a character being like, you know, appealing to emotion. Like, I would even accept that because like, yeah, appeal to emotion, appeal to my emotions as the viewer. Like, let me at least give me that, right? He doesn't do any of that.
And no one
challenges him on it.
No one challenges. If anything, Marita near the end goes, I need you to keep saying even so, like verbatim.
Yeah.
She
Characters
says,
literally tell him,
you have to keep saying even so.
You have to keep being a contrarian. And it's like, it's super important.
And what I think, what I think we're trying to get at here, and what I think Unicorn fans might disagree with, and you know, it's fine if you guys disagree, whatever.
No, if you disagree, you can burn in hell. Just kidding.
The show is unfortunately made to be enjoyable to most people. They call this man the J.J. Abrams of Gundam for a reason. I understand.
The show is gorgeous. The show is gorgeous. Oh my God. Like,
and they yap and they say things that are like, for most people are fine. But I think the problem comes from when Banagher does this, when he gets on his pedestal and he says, even so, you can't do this. There is like, what separates someone like a character who wants like peace from a character who's just a centrist dipshit is that like Banagher and co have no vision for a better tomorrow. They are basically fighting for a status quo, even though even so, like it's which is frustrating because the whole crux of the plot is that there is a mystery box, a literal mystery box, by the way. The J.J. Abrams of Gundam. There is a mystery box that is said to change everything we've known. There's a problem with that, though. They very well know that in the in the Universal Century, which you see Universal Century Unicorn, haha, very funny. In the Universal Century, this is at the precipice moment of when shit gets really bad. Everything that follows Gundam Unicorn is terrible. Everything goes to shit after this. So nothing can really happen or get better. And they write this show knowing that. And it still tries to be like, we're changing everything. Oh, but nothing can change from what they find in Gundam Unicorn. The characters should be having their own ideals of what would make for a better future, but they don't. So when all they do is just say, no, but don't do that. And no one goes, well, what do you want to do then? What's your fucking plan? what's your weird third libertarian party's idea for your future, the Maneva faction? What do you guys want? And they just go, even so, you can't do that. You can't. This is not how you should do it. Oh, and that's another great thing. Sorry, not to cut you off, but before we let it slip away, there's so many moments where like a woman impassioned to, like a female character impassioned to act a certain way is like about to do something that might be like drastic in order to serve their ideals. And he goes, is this really what you want? And he does it every time.
Oh my God.
Every time.
He is like, he has like a radar for when women want to actualize. It's fucking insane. Like Benager is like a gaslighter's like dream. Like every time the lady character wants, any lady character wants to do something, he's like, yeah, but like really like search your heart. Like, is that really what you want to do? Like, is this really the way? Like, wouldn't you rather?
Do they punish women for not like? Okay,
they kill women in this show for
not just kill,
no
but murder.
Fucking reason. Like for no fucking reason. Like there's a woman in this show that fucking dies with, I don't know, 20 minutes left on the clock.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it's,
to be fair, killed by the same person who did kind of have a reason a little bit. The character's only reasonable moment of, hey, Benager, this woman you're trying to like contrarian centrism talk down is about to kill a bunch of innocents. I'm just gonna take the shot, dude.
Yeah. And it's like, ugh. But yeah, like at the end of the show, Benager is literally asked, well, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want?
Like, why are you here? Why do you want the box?
Why do you want it? Like, what are you going to do with it? Like, okay, you have the keys to whatever. Benager literally goes, I don't know. And then he leaves to go have a play date with Full Frontal.
That is the funniest thing I've ever heard, but that is also terrible.
I had so much fun watching these OVAs again and seeing the call unravel the deeper we get, because the problem, like this, it almost feels like propaganda in the way that it's like, it starts so strong. It has probably the best hook episode of the entire franchise. You got like Samano on the OST. It's the most beautiful show like of all time. There's so much like going for it, like in the presentation, but then the characters speak, and the more they speak, the worse the show gets. And every OVA, it gets a little worse.
And like, and slowly things start to, by the way, the showrunner is he calls himself the J.J. Abrams of Gundam. And also, I don't know if he calls himself this or if people call him this. He is considered the Tom Clancy of Japan.
I'm going to kill myself. Someone, okay. Don't take this seriously, whoever's ever listened to this podcast. I'm not harming, I'm not wishing harm on anyone, but someone should evaporate this man.
So to drive that point home, to drive the whole Tom Clancy of Japan idea home, we should talk about what the box is.
A box, yeah.
I'm going to talk about what the box is.
Okay, you can insert your little spoiler there, yeah.
I'm gonna put in a time code. I'm gonna cut myself here, and I'm gonna be like, hey, go to this time code. Okay, just give 3 seconds for pause. Hey, Burnouts, it's GC. Just wanted to warn you that for the conversation about Gundam Unicorn that we're about to have, I get a little lost in the sauce, and I lose the strength of the points I'm making while riling myself up for entertainment purposes. Listening back to it now, I realize that I come across pretty intense and kind of all over the place. My intent was to come across a little more level-headed, a little more articulate, but that clearly did not end up happening. Anyway, if you want to avoid spoilers for Unicorn Gundam, skip over to 2 hours, 45 minutes, and 50 seconds. If you are going to use that time code and you're worried about missing out on context, don't worry. The TLDR of this whole thing is that Unicorn Gundam essentially tries to get across fascist ideas under the guise of being a more centrist show. That is, of course, just my opinion and my interpretation of the media. So take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt, obviously. Anyway, hope you're having a good day. Enjoy the rest of the podcast. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Let me stand up for this.
So in the end of the show, when you discover what Laplace's box is.
I'll get the actual like quote.
Yes, please.
Ready, and I will cite it when you're ready for me to do so.
Okay. So what Laplace's box is, what it turns out to be, this thing, this monumental, life-changing, world-changing revelation that the Earth Federation wants to contain so that it never gets out, so that nobody ever finds out about it. Okay. Now remember, we've talked about how Zeon are the fascists. Okay. Remember that. I want you to remember that. The Earth Federation doesn't want this thing to go out. The Earth Federation that's been showcased as sort of like really bad in Unicorn Gundam as like an evil, like they've become an evil organization, right? They want to keep this under wraps. Okay. Zeon wants to use Laplace's box as a bargaining chip. Okay. Remember that. I want you to remember that. They want to use it as a bargaining chip to buy time so that the space people can gain independence. That is what they say. That is what the writers, okay, say that Zeon is doing. That is what they wrote in. It is not that, oh, well, you see, Zeon just wants to do that. No. I want you to think, dear listener, I want you to think with your brain, okay? Somebody wrote this so that this is how these things would play out with an intent behind it, okay? Okay, the fascist faction, they don't want to reveal Laplace's box. What they want to do is they want to buy time so that the space noids can get independence. See, they don't really care about what's inside of Laplace's box, the fascists. Remember that. Somebody wrote that in, okay? Okay.
Can I ask, just in addition to this, GC, what does the third-party Maneva faction want with it?
They want to reveal it to the world.
Yes. They just want to, they don't have any like, there's no real like motivation here. They just want to tell everybody.
They want to tell everybody about it. Okay. Which as you will learn is largely an ineffective
doesn't
thing
matter.
to do. It literally doesn't matter. Because this is a stupid plot device. So when they go to Laplace's box, they discover Laplace's box, which turns out to be in the colony that they were originally in the first episode. It turns out there's a secret underground bunker, and they were literally standing on top of it in the first episode. By the way, all of Unicorn Gundam is about finding this stupid box. So it ends up being in the first place they started, which I assume is some sort of like fucked up way of doing the hero's journey for Benager. But like, like Benager's story does follow the hero's journey, but you don't really need the fucking hero's journey in a fucking story about political ideologies clashing with, you know what I mean? Like, this is not the time for the hero's fucking journey, but I guess if we're going to do the hero's journey, he goes back to where he started, whatever. He goes underground into this underground fucking bunker on this colony. And in the bunker is an old man, presumably his grandfather, presumably Benager's grandfather, could just be like a great grandfather or something. And he is guarding a plaque. And on the plaque is the original United Federation's constitution for
whatever. The Universal Century.
The charter for the Universal Century. So it's like, you know, a bunch of articles dictate like a Bill of Rights.
Like Constitution, yeah. It's like,
yeah. Just like we the people believe that, you know, we are one united whatever nations and this and that or whatever. And the reason it's so special is because this plaque, the original plaque from the original charter that is signed by every world leader at the beginning of the Universal Century, has an extra article that isn't on the charter in the United Federations. It's an extra article that the Earth Federation seemingly has left out of the charter in future installments.
I'm going to read the whole article when you're ready for me to, because I think it needs to, you gotta, like, if GC just tells you it, you'll go, oh, what? But if like you get it like our call did, and we just see it read out, it should, there was something so beautiful about the fact that like GC was surprised. I didn't remember how bad this was. And I think Jess was like our friend Jess, probably maybe knew, but was also just like, oh. So, all right. Chapter 7, Future, Article 15. The Earth Federation shall prepare the following articles for the future of human race with high hopes and expectations. 1. In preparation for an extraterrestrial biological emergency, the Earth Federation shall increase and expand research and preparedness. 2. In the future, should the emergence of a new space-adapted human race be confirmed, the Earth Federation shall give priority to involving them in the administration of the government.
So what they're basically saying, and a lot of people will argue. I have a friend who did not argue with me, but he told me what he interpreted that as. He when I explained to him like what I thought about the show, he was like, "Oh no, okay, yeah, that makes, whatever." It had been a while since he's seen the show. So you could, if you're not paying attention, you could be like, "Oh, well, that just means that like, the new type ideology, new types, by the way, are a thing in Gundam where the idea is that when humankind goes to space, we will essentially evolve. Like our next evolutionary step is to go to space." That's basically like the new type idea. And all it basically says is, first of all, everybody gets psychic powers, which is kind of dope. But those psychic powers are largely just have to do with like an increased level of empathy and ability to feel what others are feeling.
It is like, and it is something that the Federation and Xeon basically use to have a bunch of little child soldiers. Yes. Because they with all those like enhanced senses, they happen to be really good at piloting robots.
Yes. And that in itself is commentary of how like the human beings of the past, the older generation will use the younger generation to perpetuate their conflict, right? And that's part of Gundam's conversation about the old versus the new generation. And like new types are sort of like emblematic of that idea of like the young people are smarter, younger people understand each other better, younger people, like Tomino's thing with new types is, I believe that the generation of tomorrow will have more compassion, will have more emotional intelligence, will understand that our conflicts and the things that divide us are overall like are relatively like not as important as our overall unity. Like we should actually be trying to come together,
to, like, pave a way for the generation that follows and make the world a better place for them. And a lot of the conflict of Gundam are people stuck in the past or obsessed with the present that benefits them, that they cause like problems for future generations. And it is like it is a fucking thematic keystone to his entire body of work.
And this is why there are new types on both sides of the conflict, because it is the younger generation inheriting the older generation's problems. And that's what he wants to talk about. And the fact that your Gundam pilots are all new types and they all fucking die in war. And the people who aren't new types, the people who aren't the new generation, like for instance, fucking Colonel Burger, what's his name? Bright Noah.
Oh God.
Like That's why you have characters like Bright Noah who are
Burger.
who are perpetual. They are perpetually stuck, and to a certain extent, even Amuro Ray, even despite the fact that he's a new type, they are perpetually stuck
In the system.
in the system. They are
The
they
war
are-
machine.
Mhm.
Yeah, they are in the war machine. And like the tragedy of Gundam is that new types should be creating, you know, like
A
it's
better
not,
society.
yes,
should-
like all of humanity should be new types. Like that's the point that Tomino is making. Like a new type is not a new race. A new type is a new way of thinking.
it's like an evolution of humanity.
An evolution, you say?
The
Anyways.
problem, so you understand that, right? Like it is not about a master race. You can interpret it that way, but it is not about a master race. It is about the youth. It is about
Funnily enough, because
Hmm.
you're right. Guess
Thought it was about the
which
magazine.
side of the conflict typically did interpret that as a master race?
Xeon.
Xeon.
Yes. Which again falls back to Xeons are a bunch of fucking fascists, right? Okay. When Unicorn Gundam, this article is supposed to be groundbreaking. Why? Because because in Unicorn Gundam, new types are basically shunned. They are basically either tools or they're looked down on
Or forgotten.
or forgotten. And both factions like it this way. Both factions, well, actually, Neo Xeon less. The Earth Federation would prefer if nobody talked about new types, to the point that they open Unicorn Gundam with a teacher. Like they're in a classroom and a fucking teacher is talking about new types and how they all stopped existing and how dangerous it is to be a new type. And if you start exhibiting new type powers, you're a detriment to society. That's literally in the opening episode of Unicorn Gundam.
A fun little detail is I'm pretty sure that school is like run by the Federation or something.
It's also, yes, it's run by the Federation. Also, a character in the show, Riddy, is super against new types. And he constantly is like, hey, that's new type thinking. You shouldn't think like that. Ironically, he is a new type.
Yeah.
Right?
I was waiting for like the Riddy talk, and maybe we'll go into Riddy, the funniest character of all time. But yeah. So
They are saying, Unicorn Gundam is basically saying that the big secret that the government is holding back is that there is a master race. And secretly, that master race should actually be in control of the government. Because when you say the missing article that everyone is searching for, that the Earth Federation doesn't want anybody to see, that this other faction wants to use as a bargaining chip to like buy time for the space noids, quote unquote. And then suddenly your new type protagonists want everyone to know about the special new type articles of the Constitution. You're basically asserting that new types, first of all, you're framing it as though new types are like the Ubermensch of like of
funny enough,
humanity.
like Gundam Seed just says the quiet part louder.
Yes.
So what you're saying is that this guy who Tomino physically kicked and hated with the very core of his being completely misinterpreted his body of work.
Yes.
And okay,
Yes.
that sucks. I would also kick this man. I would beat him to death with hammers.
Yeah.
Unicorn Gundam's ultimate message is that there is a master race. And if that master race exists, they should be given the power. They should be given power to rule over the rest of humanity. And like that's insane, right? Like even in the fantasy world of Gundam, that's insane. But if we are but Gundam is about allegory, right? Like Gundam is supposed to represent things. So what Unicorn Gundam is essentially like advertising and promoting is racial supremacy.
It is also worth mentioning, just with the way Unicorn kind of presents itself, you get the feeling that they do not believe that new types are a metaphor. You don't
No.
get the idea, like, because it's not even a situation where it's like, oh yeah, the next generation, they should kick out all the old people and they should control anything. No, it's like they don't get new types. Like, thematically, they don't get that part of Gundam.
No,
They
they've
take new types as literal.
Yes. And like you pair this, and again, you got to take it all in, like you put it all together, right? Okay. The secret thing that the Earth Federation doesn't want to get out is about racial supremacy, right? It's an article that gives power to a superior human race. Okay, that's pretty bad. But then you have to pair it with the fact that the show is very sympathetic towards the Zeon side of things. To like where all of Bonager's emotional moments are exclusively with Zeon characters, despite the fact that he's supposedly a centrist. Okay, all of Bonager's opportunities of trying to save other people are related to Zeon characters. When Earth Federation people are in danger, Bonager doesn't really get involved. He's kind of he kind of like is like, oh, my hands are tied, I can't really do anything.
He like kind of gets passed around to both sides again and again and again. And like every time he's in the hands of the Federation, it's like completely viewed. Like he doesn't learn anything. He doesn't have any like touching moments. It is just negative.
Then we have to also take into account that the Unicorn Gundam is a special Gundam that kills new types.
It was
exclusively
made to it was designed to murder new types.
Yes, it was designed to detect and murder new types. So, and the reason Bonager doesn't like using the Unicorn Gundam is because the Gundam is fueled by that sort of like directive, because the Gundam's like kind of alive, sort of. Because
and you know what though? Like
nothing is sacred.
Idea by itself, there could have been something there.
Oh, sure.
Like the fact that your dad made a machine to kill people and you are using this machine to instead like fight for peace. Like that's almost something. If they fucking did something with that, that could have been really interesting. But no, continue, GC. I just needed to make that part clear because it just fucking drives me crazy.
And then you couple it with the opening section of them basically saying that new types are all bad and that we should kill all the new types and how that's wrong. And you kind of get this idea that the writer believes there does indeed exist a superior race and that that race is being persecuted. And unfortunately, because like even in the Gundam universe, because like the Zeon side is so favorably cast in Unicorn Gundam, you get the feeling and you make the connection that what this person is saying is that the ideals of Zeon aren't entirely bad because they kind of sort of agree with this idea that the space people are kind of better.
Yeah.
And the subtext there is that it's I can't call it white supremacy because he's not white, but like it is racial supremacy. It is somebody saying that, yeah, there's a master race and like, you know, some people are more special than others. And those people deserve to have power over everybody else. And the tragedy of Gundam Unicorn is that nobody listens to those people. And that's like the story. It's, oh, no one listens to the clearly superior race in this world, and that is why they're all suffering, and that is the problem. And ultimately it's like, okay, well, what does the superior race have to say? And then he gets cold feet and he doesn't say anything because ultimately he has nothing to say.
He's that guy at the party who starts like bringing up all these like dog whistles. And
that's what it is.
and then like just kind of walks away
Yeah.
and doesn't elaborate. And you go, wait, hey, I saw you at the near the drinks a bit earlier. What was that shit about Trump? What do you want to like talk about that? Like, that's a bit weird, man. It's like, the what about, huh? I don't, I gotta
like
go, man. And they get in their like Make America Great Again like themed truck and they drive away listening to MAGA themed rap. And you
It
just
is a
go
bunch
like,
of dog whistles. Like it is a bunch of dog whistles. Like it's just like a show that has just enough for people that are like about it to pick up on it and be like, oh yeah, like I'm picking up what this guy's putting down. But people who aren't like already on that line of thinking, like you can play dumb, which is like the most
plausible deniability.
Yes, it is plausible deniability, the fucking show. And I can't stand it because I can't stand shit like that, because I would rather you be overtly racist or overtly nationalist or overtly like overtly like zealot, like an overt zealot, over you pretending like you said nothing wrong or acting like you're not saying anything crazy when so clearly you are laying down little hints here and there to appease the people that you want to appease, you know?
Mm-hmm. And here lies the problem. GC, can you describe how cool the robot Unicorn Gundam is?
The Unicorn Gundam is actually pretty fucking cool, dude. Like,
Yeah, I was looking at the design and I was like, this looks really awesome. But now I'm also questioning the taste of this one person that was like, Unicorn Gundam is good. And I was like, I need to like, I can't trust this person ever.
you gotta investigate. You gotta investigate.
We sorry, go.
It's such a shame because the people that worked on that show, like the animation team and like whoever like did the concept for the Gundam, they nailed it. Like that is such a cool Gundam design. That is those all of those mobile suits are really cool. I know they reuse a lot of older mobile suits from like other stuff and things like that, but like
they're great versions of them. Like one of the biggest issues with Unicorn Gundam is that it kind of just apes off of a bunch of old Gundam stuff. Like there was a specific moment where like Banagher has like a new type awakening that's so fucking forced, but to like make the connection work, they just draw him like Amuro Ray at the end of 0079 just to be like, hey, look, see, it's the thing. And they're constantly reusing like old mobile suits, and it's just like,
there's a scene where Full Frontal kicks the Unicorn Gundam just like Char kicks the Gundam in the Gundam show. And like
you, if it was a couple, that'd be fine. Like
they do it twice.
It's show
insane.
Around like OVA 5, it's like it becomes a less confident show, and they just start cramming so many references to old shit down your throat, and like a bunch of old like Gundam characters start like showing up and being like barely active in the plot, and like visual references like crazy. It's one of those things where it's like, is this homage or like
ripping off?
Or are you just ripping a bunch of shit off?
And I think it's ripping a bunch of shit off because there's no like, first of all, there's no parallel between Full Frontal and Banagher and Amuro and Char.
No.
There's literally no chemistry there. There's no building tension or a building relationship between the two. They're like, so that kick when they pay, quote unquote, pay homage to that thing. No, you're not paying off. You're ripping it off because there's no parallel. There's no connection. There's no like weight to that. It's just, you're doing it because people have seen it before. It is so like, superficial. And then, on top of that, when the robots aren't fighting, like besides all the problematic shit in this show, the show is paced terribly. Like you get like really long, convoluted like action scenes where, by the way, none of the soldiers have faces, which is another thing that like they totally missed about Gundam, is that like even like the jobbers in
you
Gundam,
always see like in the cockpit, and you see their face. Like I to add on to that point, absolutely. Like I just watched like movie 2 of the 0079 trilogy is about like the Earth arc. And like every fucking mobile suit that's out on that field, you are seeing the guy in it up until he dies.
Yeah. And like, so you see a bunch of faceless people die, and like the robots move cool and all, but like there's no like emotional impact to the fight scene. Like it's literally action figures being slapped together.
It is,
and that's
keys
fine.
being dangled.
Yes. And then when the Gundams aren't fighting, people are talking in a room and they're not doing the cool Tomino thing where like
they're freaks.
As an example, like here's an example of a Tomino conversation, right? Person A, what do you want to eat today? Person B, I don't know. What do you want to eat today? Person A, you always do this. Why do you always do this? Just pick a place. Person B, do you believe that a mother and a son can exist in a world that's war torn and whatever? And then person A goes, what the fuck? And then the scene ends. And it's just Tomino having characters talk back and forth until eventually he wants to like have a character say something profound. And then it actually is kind of profound. And then the scene ends and it just leaves you to think about what that character said. And you're like, okay, I'm going to think about that for a while.
It's like a mother's role in this world is many things, but my mother was never there to make me the little chicken dinos. What do you think that does to a person in a world without chicken dinos? And you go, oh.
Yeah, like it's like you have like a moment of self-reflection or something. In Unicorn Gundam, they do this fucking thing that I fucking hate when anime does it, where they are over explaining world elements and how things work, and they are not actually having a meaningful discussion. It is just two people in a room talking at each other about nothing. Nothing important.
Just expositing
Like crazy, and then they cut the scene to another scene where someone like maybe floats across a hallway or something, and then they go into a room, and then two characters talk, and then a Gundam shows up and starts shooting things, and we go into another scene. So you're not saying anything important. You don't have characters that have good chemistry. You are ripping off other Gundam shows. You have a main character who has no agency, who doesn't have his own ideologies, who doesn't say anything of value other than things other people are saying are wrong.
Violence bad.
So what are you? What are you besides an excuse to smash gunpla kits together? What are you except to sell merchandise? What is Unicorn Gundam? What is it about? What is its core message? What is its strength? Its strength is that it is visually appealing and there's nothing else about it. I can give you the benefit of the doubt and say maybe you're not being a fucking Nazi with the way you're presenting this information and the way you're presenting the story and the characters in it. But if you're not doing that, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, like there's nothing here. There's nothing to pick apart at. It has no unique view of the world. It's not trying to like there's like to compare it to my favorite Gundam, 00, you might be able to argue that at the end maybe like the protagonist of that show does kind of come to like a more like, hey, we need to stop fighting mindset. But the problem, like the key difference, I think, is that Setsuna is a character who wants something, who feels passionate about something, has the motivation to want that thing more than anything, like ever, because he was a fucking child soldier in the Middle East whose life got ruined. Like, and seeing his growth to get to a certain point like that, but still understand that like you cannot allow, like, it's not that kind of annoying like pacifism where it's like, no, we can't do anything. If you fight, you're just as bad as the people who fight. You know that, right? It's like, hey, there are things you have to protect. And like, we can get to a point where we can talk this stuff out, but we gotta kill those fucking fascists. Like, we gotta kill them because they're not gonna like sit down and just let us like, you know, talk in a room endlessly about nothing.
There is a difference between pacifism and activism. Like I draw like okay. There is a certain way people interpret what activism actually is. And a lot of people interpret activism as pacifism, as sort of like, you know, not falling into the conflict and not perpetuating conflict, not creating confrontation. You know, that is some people's ideas of activism. I deeply disagree with that interpretation of what activism actually is. And yeah, sometimes not individuals, not by themselves, but there's an understanding that if you are literally trying to stop a war, you have to either get violent or you have to throw yourself into the conflict. Like, you will not end the conflict by remaining a bystander, because you're not a bystander. Like, that's the reality, right?
Menager
Like,
is like, he has the fucking problem solving Gundam. Like,
And he just doesn't do anything with it.
He has the power, and he kind of just like, and again, it goes back to this whole idea where it's like there could be a really fun conflict there about using this thing to actually fight for change, but they don't do that in the show.
No, it's just he sits in the cockpit and he's like,
is this what you want?
Please don't fight. Please don't. And then the Unicorn Gundam is like, we're fighting because the Unicorn Gundam has a life of its own. And he goes, Unicorn, no, stop.
That is like, I heard someone describe it, is that he's not piloting the Unicorn Gundam. He's trying to rein it in. And again, in a better show.
In a better show, that's interesting. In a better show, the Unicorn Gundam and Space whatever Ideon have like a lot of things in common.
The Unicorn Gundam is like the spirit of Tomino being like, please God,
do something.
Yeah.
No, the Unicorn is like, we got to do something, man. We got and you don't really have a moment. Like, if you're gonna make the Unicorn Gundam its like own living being, then there's like, also there could be like a fun scene where like Benager has to like communicate with the Unicorn Gundam. I don't really mind that the robot is alive. I think that's kind of neat.
I hate it, dog. I hate it.
I hate what they did with it.
I think it's so anti, like, Gundam.
Well, yeah, like, and especially where they put it. Don't get me wrong, but like, I'm saying, like,
I guess conceptually it could be cool. It's just the execution fucking blows.
Like,
it sounds like I'll be honest, like, you guys keep talking about this and I'm like, what the fuck, and it's like so bad to the point like my eyes fully glazed over because it just sounds miserable and awful, and I'm sorry both of you watched that.
I had a really fun time not liking the show.
watching shit that with me that I don't like is like, it's an experience you can only get when I truly dislike something, because most of the time I'm very ambivalent and I shrug everything off. But if you catch me watching something or playing something that I fucking can't stand, it's a treat. It's an invitation. I make it inclusive for everybody. You can I'm gonna be mad and I'm gonna try to be funny about it.
It was so fun. I see, it's really sad that GC was like, oh, you took something from me, because I go, yeah, I did.
You stole 7.5 hours from me. I should bill you for this.
I got to see something. I got a beautiful experience. I got a once in a lifetime like fucking reaction montage of GC experiencing the horrors of this show, and it filled me with glee. I was like so happy.
There was a moment we were watching an episode where they said something and I went, I like that line. That's actually pretty profound. and then they cut to another shot where there's like a big cross in the scene, and Benager is standing in front of it, and the framing is like shining light down upon him as he stands in front of this cross. And I verbally went, oh hell no, no,
my God.
no.
The like early episodes were this like effort by basically all of us to be like, okay, no, but that's interesting. And what if they meant, oh yes, and we can take from this that, oh, and then it's like, oh, but like slowly episode by episode, our goodwill is like dying. And by the time you get to the end, you look back at all of it and go, wow, that was a waste of time. That wasted all of our times.
So what are you gonna put us through next, Cullen?
So Gundam Unicorn has a sequel called Gundam Narrative. Next Friday, we are watching Gundam Narrative, and I am so excited.
You'll have to do it without me because I have a "Can you beat me out" right here. Blah 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 blah. Just live text me GC what's going on.
That's okay. I mean, you don't have the context of Unicorn anyway, so it's not going to be as special as it is for GC.
Don't worry, I'll make it so you can.
GC's going to write an essay just to catch you up.
Thank you. So is that all you guys did? Is that it? Is that the?
Well, I sat through a hurricane.
Yeah. I'd like to really quick just mention
yeah.
Unicorn Gundam is a pretty popular, well-liked show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone likes Gundam Narrative. I don't think Unicorn Gundam fans like Gundam Narrative. I don't think Gundam Narrative has fans. And people who don't like Unicorn Gundam also don't like Gundam Narrative. They had this whole plan that it was going to kickstart with Gundam Narrative to like basically make a whole new Gundam Unicorn series. And Narrative was so disliked, I think it killed it dead in the water.
Wait, so it literally killed like anything like continuing from Unicorn?
Yeah, and that might resurface at some point. Who knows? But yeah, I'm really excited for us to watch that because I haven't seen Narrative. Also, I'm not sure if I'll get other people in on this, but today, as we are recording this right now at midnight, the Netflix Unreal Engine Gundam show is airing, called Gundam Requiem for a Vengeance. And it looks to follow all Universal Century spin-off material where we are like, it seems to be kind of looking at Zeon and being like, okay, but like, are they really that bad? Because the whole show is just like fucking, the whole show seems to be, we are the Zeons and we got to fuck up a Gundam.
I'm looking up who the writer is.
Oh, it's like a French or American like co-production.
Oh, this is the one that makes the Gundam suit like
buff,
a monster.
Yeah.
That'll be
just looking
Teenage
at
Mutant Ninja Turtles, Avengers Assemble, Spider-Man.
It looks ass.
Yeah. I'm
gonna watch it because I think it'd be funny to see where it lands on the Zeon Apologia spectrum of Tomino material or non-Tomino UC material. But yeah, so it's Gundam month.
I don't have high hopes. It's written by the same guy that wrote Genlock. So
well, yeah, I also don't have high hopes, but I'm hoping it'll at least be like, what colony drop? That didn't happen. What are you talking about? Federation bad.
Ugh. Anyway,
I
think that's pretty much it. Not much else to report. We don't have any questions this week, do we?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, everyone, for not sending in questions. You've saved my tummy.
Kazuma
but this week, send in questions. Yes. Ask us things.
Ask us about Unicorn Gundam.
Oh my god.
Challenge me about Unicorn Gundam. I'll fight you on the fucking streets. Sorry, I don't mean I shouldn't antagonize our viewers. They can probably kick my ass.
Maybe.
Where can they find us, Cullen?
They can find us at Burnout Culture Podcast on Twitter. More like shitter, lol. They can email us at burnoutculturepodcast@gmail.com. And where can they find us on YouTube, Cause?
At Burnout Culture on YouTube.
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually scored that at. I should also probably make us a Blue Sky because Blue Sky is really popping off right now.
Mhm.
But we also have a community Discord, which will be linked in the description of the podcast. Because I really don't think we're going to get an influx of people being fucking weirdos. I think that's past for now. So
Yahoo. Yippee.
All right. I guess that's it from us. Next week, Cullen will be dead again because Olive killed him.
Yay.
See you then, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.